Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. I am happy to be back here after a weekend of carrying around heavy rocks and building a stone wall and moving big, heavy logs around and more. Quite an exhausting weekend, but good progress. So we will take it. And I apologize. My desk is a mess, and it will likely always be so. We use forced perspective, though. Do you know what that is? Just move all the junk out of the camera, so nobody is the wiser, except for my wife, who's constantly nagging me to clean my desk, my office, the only places in the home she will not. So over the weekend, somebody sent me tonight's video. And boy, what could I say? These two grifting scumbag scammers who have both been caught promoting hoaxes multiple times each, did a grifter team up. It's like, when our scammy powers combine, we are Captain Grifter. That's right. Ashton Forbes and Dr. Greer, Dr. Stephen Greed, teaming up. I guess somebody mentioned that maybe their money is, their money is drying up, so they have to combine their scammy powers in order to keep scamming both their audiences, and maybe each will get some crossover. Because the truth is, pardon me, friends, the truth is, anybody who believes anything that Dr. Stephen Greer has to say at this point is literally retarded. This is the guy who claimed he briefed every sitting U.S. president since Ronald Reagan. And we checked all the libraries. He didn't brief any of the presidents. The closest thing he can come to, Stephen Greer, to briefing a president is that he sent what he called were briefing documents to the Clinton White House. I found those in the Clinton library. But, my friends, there is a big, big difference between actually sitting in the Oval Office and briefing a real sitting president and sending a letter to the White House. Dr. Stephen Greer has been caught time and time again, sometimes by us. Does anybody remember that whole story arc where we were going after Third Phase of Moon for being scumbag hoaxer grifters? And then, of course, they start working for Stephen Greer and promoting him. So then I went after them again for promoting a grifting scumbag. And I even got to confront them about the one documentary in which Stephen Greer said an entire company got murdered for developing free energy. And I said, well, did you get the name of the company? Did you research? Did you fact check him? And Third Phase of Moon, idiots that they are, scammers that they are, they said straight to my face, well, Stephen, if we would fact check him, he wouldn't have done the documentary with us. So real good at these people are real good at pretending they're going to give you the hidden truth, when in reality, it's all lies. And they know it's lies. Third Phase of Moon knew that Stephen Greer was a grifting scumbag, and they couldn't go fact check what he said because it's all lies. It's all lies. I want to thank some kind and generous people. We've got Chill Station 7 chiming in with the 149 super sticker. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. And we've got a very meager goal tonight. I'm going to hope we're going to hit it again. We've got a streak going. Let's go, Chill Station 7.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Thank you for your kindness. And, of course, we also have one for the gold from Trolly Troll Troll. Dang, with all that hard work, you might get as buff as DSP. Well, one can hope, right? We can hope, Trolly Troll Troll.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
I'll tell you what, Trolly Troll Troll, it's very frustrating to me. Like, I didn't plan on building an entire stone wall. But here's what happened. Right behind where that wall started to come up, there is a big, like, bluff, I guess you could say. It's like a hill, and the hill is completely and totally filled with stones and rocks. There's like hundreds of stones and rocks right there, 5 or 10 feet from the back of the wall that I'm building. So somehow organically, I started building a stone wall. And then I thought I was done and I was going to finish the one side of the stone wall with logs so that I could hang pots and pans. But then I figured something else out, and you could still hang pots and pans even if you have a stone wall. So anyway, the wall is this close to being finished, and I couldn't finish it over the weekend. I was so mad. But we keep going and going and going. So we're going to take a moment to thank our kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters, YouTube channel members, people gifting YouTube channel memberships, you people that are subbing on kick.com. It's like getting an extra paycheck. We love the Kick support, and you people gifting subs on Kick, just so everyone is aware. And yes, I still haven't finished fixed the camera glitch. I think I just have to throw this webcam in the trash and start over. I tried everything else. It kind of goes with the motif, right? Like Matrix style glitching. I don't know. So I just want to take a moment to tell everyone that I read every single super chat. If you become a member during live broadcast, I call it out and thank you immensely for your kindness and support. If you buy a sub on Kick, if you gift a sub on Kick, if you gift a membership, if you send a PayPal pledge, if you buy me a coffee, in short, any bit of support that you send during a live broadcast, I read and shout out and thank you. If you're sending a PayPal pledge, please be sure to add a note and give me your chat room user ID, because I get people's real legal names, and I don't know that you want me reading that on this show with these degenerates watching, right? They're cool degenerates. It's okay. Energizer Bunny Steven. Yeah, I'm feeling like like my batteries are running down though. That cabin has given me a whole new respect for Amish people. And here's why. I'm doing a lot of that, or most of it, with hand tools. I'm mixing cement by hand, and we're up to like 1,500 pounds of mortar mix, 80 pounds at a time. That was all mixed by hand. I think we're up to 14 or 16 80-pound bags. So whatever that is, I mixed it all by hand. I'm building the wall by hand. I have no machinery to help me lift the stones up. And the higher you go up that wall, the scarier it gets. And the more shit is falling down. I think I got more mortar mix on the ground this weekend than I got in the walls. But you do what you can, right? So what can I tell you about Ashton Forbes? He started his entire career off of completely and totally fake CGI videos that he got off of a website that promotes fake CGI videos. So it's kind of interesting that he could rise to such prominence. He's been on Candace Owen. He was on Danny Jones. He's been on a bunch of huge, he's been on Timcast. I don't know why, but he seems to go on the right-wing leaner, podcasts. And Candace Owens is basically retarded. I swear that woman's retarded. So, I don't know that he should be so he's so arrogant. Like, I have this many followers. You got there by lying to everybody, buddy. You are a fucking loser and a liar and a scammer and a grifter and a scumbag. And we know he's a grifter and a scumbag because he tried to sell free energy devices before he ever saw a working one. He just partnered up with some other internet scumball that was trying to scam people for fake free energy devices and tried to, sell it to people. But you got to sign an NDA. So when you get it and it doesn't work, because free energy is not real, Ashton Forbes, it's imaginary, you retarded goober. You had to sign an NDA, so nobody could talk about the device, even if you felt like you got ripped off or so. This is a scam. This is a complete and total scam. And of course, he was using 16-year-old videos of a fake device from YouTube. That was his proof of the things. He needs to be investigated for abusing his government contractor's clearance. He used it to dox Jeremy Rise, Danny Jones, and the Corridor Crew. Ashton should be fired. Well, it'd be a shame if somebody found out where he worked and started calling up his boss. Not that I'd encourage that, but he should not be able to use government computers to take revenge on his internet critics. And, no offense, but I'm on Crypto Alchemist side. What did Danny Jones do? Challenge him that the videos are fake. What did Jeremy Rise do? Challenge him that the videos are fake. What did I do? challenge him that the videos are fake over and over and over again. And I don't know, Crypto Alchemist. Sometimes I think these guys go for people who they think will let that slide, and I for whatever reason, he hasn't doxed me or any of that. But it may also be that I happen to have family that lives in his in his area. Maybe he's afraid of some consequences if he does that kind of shit to me. And by the way, I've been doxxed so many times that it's not like it's pretty much public knowledge what my home address is at this point, which is a bit concerning because I have a wife and children, but I'm a Second Amendment guy. We have an incredible security system here, and I have let's just say a lot of defense mechanisms. So I don't really worry about being doxxed, but it is ridiculous that this guy Ashton has been able to, like, he's literally threatening senators, right? He's threatening senators. He's threatening to have people executed that are hiding the fake technology that he thinks is real. And there have been, like, I don't know if they're real, but there have been screenshots of like his family members saying, please take your meds. Like, he is completely and totally a mental case lunatic. So let's get some support and we'll get into the video. I'm going to turn to the dark side. I will withhold the commentary until we get some more support, right? I will check. Well, no, I'm just kidding. But we will check in with the kick.com chat because sometimes people gift a sub or become a subscriber even when I'm not broadcasting. There may be some support over there to call out. So let me just get caught up from my creator dash. Okay. All right. Yeti or not. Sub. Yes. Yes. Yeti or not. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Big support on Kip. Let's get some more bitches.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right, friends. I'm always pleased to see that kick support. Probably because we get to keep most of that, right? And by the way, I was just too beat up to do the kick only stream this weekend. We're going to try it again next weekend, or we're going to try it during the week. Actually, I have a great idea. I think on Thursday night this week, let's do this. On Thursday night this week, I will end the normal Thursday night stream that will be broadcasting on Kick and Twitch and Twitter and YouTube. And then we'll start a kick only stream. That will be a panel show, and anybody can join. We can talk about the show I just did, or any of the shows this week, or anything that you would like to. I think that instead of doing like members only, doing a kick only stream where anybody can go and check it out would be a good way to start promoting the kick only streams. We'll take a moment to recognize some more kind and generous people, like the Militant Nerd, great user ID. Good old Greer. Have you seen the weird resurgence of the Dan Burr stories making the rounds? I didn't know Grush named him in his BS story, but a lot of channels posting old Burrish videos again. Yes, and for those unaware, Dan Burrish is a complete and total fraud because while he claimed he was working at Area 51 as a biologist, he was actually a security guard at a Las Vegas casino, and that has been proven. And basically, Dan Burrish just took parts of Bob Lazar's story and expanded on them. He is a complete and total lunatic. And even the people that are super true believers, for example, Michael Stratt. And by the way, just to be clear, when I call Michael Stratt a true believer, I'm not meaning that disparagingly. I love Michael Stratt. He is just a great person. He's one of the nicest, most genuine, individuals you'll ever meet. He just happens to believe that aliens are visiting Earth and the government is hiding alien spaceships and shit. But we could be friendly and still, be friends and just disagree on some of this stuff. But even the true believers like Michael Stratt, who, he's all in on a lot of bullshit. He cut ties with Dan Burrish and declared him a complete and total hoaxer and a fraud. But thank you, Militant.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Thank you for your kindness. And we've got Chill Station 7 stepping up and giving one for the goal. Steve has many baby traps, like in Home Alone. No, I've got firearms, lots of them, Chill Station. But come on, people, let's make it rain up in this bitch tonight. And thank you for all the support so far. All right, just Chad with a super sticker. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for also being a member. Yeah, Strat ain't trying to fleece people. He's one of the good guys. And I regret that he started working for Stephen Greer, because basically, if I understand the arrangement correctly, Arlene, Stephen Greer basically just mined Michael Strat for a lifetime's worth of collecting UFO material so that he would have material to sell his morons. And new material to grift off of. It's just one of those things. I strongly cautioned him against doing that, and I think now he would agree with me. I don't know. I don't think that relationship, the super chat wouldn't let me type it. That's weird. I don't think that he's still working for Greer, and probably with good reason, because Greer is a grifting scumbag. And the fact that these two grifters haven't got together already is kind of surprising to me, right? And during this, it's funny because Ashton Forbes all but blows Greer right on the stream. He all but licks his asshole for the audience. Like, please, Stephen Greer, I like your research. Let me get in that asshole. Let me get in your asshole real good, Greer. All my research has led back to your research. That's because you're both bullshitters, and your so-called research is all fake pseudoscience nonsense, fake whistleblowers, and assholes telling fake stories. So of course there's going to be some intersection there. But it's interesting that Ashton Forbes was more or less trying to blow Greer live on the stream, because Ashton knows that his whole scam is basically ending, right? His whole scam is coming crashing down. There's not much further he can push this fake video hoax, this Malaysia 370 hoax up the hill. So maybe he's trying to get in on a new scam. A smarter scammer than Ashton would realize, like, damn, I built my whole following from this MH370 fake shit, and everybody knows it's fake now. Maybe I'll just pivot to something else that they can't as easily prove is fake. But he's a moron. I swear he's on the spectrum, possibly retarded, not a full tard. Like, we'll give him a half tard status. He's highly intelligent in some ways and basically retarded in other ways. So what are you going to do? Is he going to start a new grift? I don't know. Maybe he's going to try to get on the Stephen Greer grift money. And by the way, I will say a lot of stuff about Stephen Greer, but Stephen Greer is perhaps the most successful UFO grifter as far as financially goes. He owns multiple $1 million homes and more. And that may be a story for another time, with why a lot of people left his organization when they started realizing, allegedly or apparently, he was spending an awful lot of money on personal real estate. He's got an apartment in Washington, D.C. He's got a farm in, Virginia? Something. He's just a nitwit, desperate for relevance. Yeah, I agree. But let's get into the video. This is a long one, so we may only get halfway through. And if people want me to, we'll do the other half. Let's get into it.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, Dr. Greer. Thank you for being here.
Okay, and a lot of people are asking me who this Raven woman is. She's some kind of a person that's involved with Dr. Stephen Greer's cult. And she is basically a bullshit facilitator. Greer needs somebody to sit next to him and set up his talking points. And so he always has some moron. In this case, look at this woman. She looks like a fucking moron, right? She definitely looks like, maybe she's about 80 IQ, right? Anyway, she is just a member of his cult. Greer always has somebody that sort of sits with him and sends him the softballs, and then he regurgitates the same talking points that he always does. Oh, they're hiding free energy, and we could be living in a utopian society, and that's why the UFO secret is such a big deal. It's not the propulsion system, it's the power source. And he says the same shit over and over again. This woman is there to set him up. So, and we'll see that it's very obvious. We'll see that during this. Let's continue.
Thank you.
We have an exciting afternoon planned. We're going to be speaking about Boogosphere developments, and then we're going to have Ashton Forbes join us in the next 30 minutes talking about the MH370 flight.
And for those unaware, the Boogospheres is fake shit that came from Jaime Maussan. Greer is so desperate for new material, he's going to one of the biggest known hoaxers on the planet, certainly the biggest and most successful in Mexico, a man who scammed people out of hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Roswell slide hoax. He's a complete and total proven hoaxer. And the fact that Dr. Stephen Greer is working with a complete and total proven hoaxer means that he himself has zero credibility, zero discernment. He has no regard for like his own personal reputation. Because listen, if he was serious and he was really on the level and credible, he wouldn't work with somebody that scammed the public out of hundreds of thousands of dollars for completely fake shit. But yet here we are. And he also works with Third Phase of Moon, who are the biggest UFO hoaxers ever on YouTube to this day and ever in history. He's got the credibility of a crackhead, friends.
And so let's get started.
Yes, hello everyone. Thanks for supporting our membership and being part of our group. It helps fund a lot of what we're doing in our research.
No, it helps fund a lot of $1 million homes that you have, Greer. You fucking scumbag. You've been scamming the public for decades now with all your fake stories. Oh, I briefed the CIA director. Oh, it turns out he said you're full of shit and no, you never briefed him. He sat near you out of social function, you lying scumbag. And what about that Orion project where you scammed the public out of hundreds of thousands of dollars for donations to create a free energy device, and then you never showed any device? Right on to the next scam. Then he collected $500,000 to make a film about free energy, which was another scam because there's no way that film cost $500,000. But here we are.
And speaking of which, I think most of you had heard that the Boogosphere was carbon dated to 12,560 years ago, which of course is almost 3 times older than the Great Pyramid, and that is based on the resin material that are
exactly
in the equatorial ports around the middle of the equator of the Boogosphere. And
the hoax,
since then,
fucking
we got
moron.
The results from a very prestigious lab for the metallurgy. And that's an analysis of it. And the gamma ray emissions were a baseline, indicating that this object had not spent any significant time in outer space. Now, that doesn't tell us where it originated from, since if it had originated on another planet or even been put together out of Earth material by an ET ancient civilization or human advanced civilization.
He just blew his own hoax. Okay, so they checked the gamma radiation of the sphere, and that reading indicated it did not spend significant time in space. Because if any object, including a metal one, spends significant time in space, there will be a buildup of gamma radiation, I suppose. So right here, we know that that's nothing alien then. Because if it did come from an alien star system, it would have had to spend significant time in space. But now he's going to come up with an alternate excuse for why it's still anomalous, this stupid metal ball that somebody what a piece of shit this guy is.
And connected to the ETs, we don't know which. I think it's probably more extraterrestrial in origin. It wouldn't show that if it had not spent significant time out in space getting gamma ray bombardment, or pass through space. So we'll get into this in a little bit about how you manufacture extraterrestrial materials.
Oh, he knows how to manufacture extraterrestrial materials. Can you show us some? Can you make some and show us some? He is the biggest bluffer I have ever seen. to stand in front of paying people that are paying to see you speak and say, I briefed every sitting US president since Ronald Reagan, as if nobody can check. I mean, this guy's a bullshitter when even Joe Rogan took his episode with this guy down because he realized the guy was a bullshitter about halfway into the interview.
What's more interesting is the metallurgical analysis. Now, we always knew it was 90+% aluminum.
It's machined and assembled. Yeah, you're right.
A whole list of 15 or 20 elements that are in this compound, this alloy. And there's no alloy on the planet that matches this aluminum alloy that the shell of the sphere is made of. There's not a match. There's some that are similar. And what's interesting...
Who cares, you moron? What are the isotopic ratios of the elements that comprise this metal ball? That would show you that all the material came from Earth, therefore blowing your whole theory that this is a piece of alien technology. But you don't tell your audience that, do you? You scammer, you scumbag, you grifting fucking asshole who's been scamming the public out of millions of dollars for decades for fake stories like this. You are an educated man, a doctor. You can take a few scrapings off that ball, put it in a mass spectrometer, and know immediately if it was made from Earth elements or not. Within 15 minutes, some of them take a while to do the analysis. He won't tell you that, and neither will Jaime Maussan, because they're going to do everything they can to dance around and try to get some evidence. This thing may be alien technology. I'm not saying it's alien technology, but I am saying it can't be Earth technology. Bullshit. I call your bluff again, Greer, you scumbag. Why don't you? This guy claims that he has superpowers and he can summon aliens anytime he wants to. Why don't you go right to the White House lawn? Summon them bitches. Aliens come down. Prove I'm not a bullshitter. He won't, and he can't, because superpowers aren't real, and he can't summon aliens, but he's been scamming the public, selling them an app, claiming they'll be able to summon aliens and alien spaceships if you just pay $10 for decades now. And the fact that that's allowed on Apple's Play Store and Google, App Store, it's a literal consumer fraud scam, in my opinion. The fact that the major tech companies let him sell that scam is very disappointing to me. And someday I'm going to look into it and ask their media representatives for an explanation of why Greer is allowed to sell an app that's clearly a scam on both Google and Apple App Store. Why is he allowed to do that? Don't they care about the people that are on their platforms purchasing apps? Don't they want to protect them from predators like Dr. Greer?
Is that in some of the elements, and I'm not going to bore you with all that, is that some of them are elements which were not even discovered until the late 1800s or early 1900s. And since the Boogosphere itself is dated to 12,560 years ago, that is remarkable. Those particular rare earth elements,
I don't believe they're dating either.
Used in very high-tech electronics and precision engineering, but also for electromagnetic and magnetic field modulation. So I think what we're looking at there is the actual physics of how this Boogosphere would spin.
Yeah, they've never shown it flying. This is an unrelated video.
Gravity is very much
a hoax video. A balloon has nothing to do with what he's talking about. This is deceptive editing, you scammer, grifter.
2 or 3 centimeters thick. It's an inch to an inch and a half thick. And that aluminum alloy not only doesn't match any known existing ones on Earth, but it also...
Yeah, I'm sorry. Keto naturally is asking, why is my membership renewal being refunded? I have no idea. And I hate to see things like that. Please try again, use a different credit card, do something. We appreciate your support so much, and I'd hate to lose it over like a clerical or an accounting error, right? Torian Gold says, as a filmmaker, we call it skillful editing. Yeah, in other words, it's bullshit. Let's fly in a video that's totally unrelated of a sphere flying, a metal sphere flying in the atmosphere, while we talk about this other thing that we haven't proved ever flew and can't prove will ever fly. It's totally deceptive bullshit.
has elements in it that weren't even known on Earth until a little over 100 years ago. I also want to point out that the aluminum process,
I don't
how
believe
you
that thing's
make
12,000
aluminum
years old.
from bauxite ore, was not even invented
Yeah, maybe,
until
Keto.
the late
And I appreciate it.
1800s,
I'm sorry for the
and
hassle.
didn't go into widespread use until the very late 1800s and early 20th century. Before then, aluminum in its
Sorry to
state of
hear
just
that.
pure aluminum was so rare. It would be found where there had been a very high temperature, like volcano or something, that would naturally be hot enough to smelt it out of the ore, was more valuable than gold. Gold was nowhere near as precious as aluminum was prior to the modern era. So that's a very interesting fact as well, because human civilization didn't even have the ability to make something like this, at least the modern industrial.
Well, there we go. Keto Naturally figured out the renewal process, and we thank Keto Naturally for that. Thank you for retaining your membership. We appreciate you. Thanks for appreciating us. Big ups to Keto Naturally. Let's get some more memberships tonight, friends, and let's get some more support.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right. One moment here. Let's continue.
Human civilization until the late 1800s, early 1900s. And I think these findings are going to, be
it's called deceptive editing.
The carbon dating of the resin that's in the
if anything, it's space trash. I don't even think it's space trash.
And then another interesting
Dr.
part
Stephen
about this
Grifter,
is that the metallurgy would indicate that if there was a compound that was of this precise composition, if it does exist on Earth, it's classified. In other words, it wouldn't be in a database.
I think she's a member of his crew.
And
she's like an employee.
But when you look at this object and its age,
Big Monster 220 Real is here. Now it's a party.
A non-human extraterrestrial origin, and that it was one that was either teleported here.
I would think so.
We can talk about that, and we'll get into this a little more.
Oh, now it was teleported
discussion
here.
With Ashton Forbes about the Malaysian jet that vanished in thin air.
But let's get to Ashton Forbes, you scumbag.
Come
on.
And manufacturing of an ET object isn't, you don't dig up ore and smelt it and then weld it together into a Boeing jet or a car. They actually use a type of technology where it sets up a frequency at a very basic level of space-time in the 0 point.
Oh, this is
and they
all
materialize all those elements.
This is pseudoscience bullshit. He can't prove anything he's saying here. It is pseudoscience bullshit. Prove it. Prove it, Greer. I'm just going to keep calling your bluff. Somebody needs to sit next to him every time he gives a public talk, gives an interview, gives a public lecture, and just say, I call your bluff, you liar. Prove this shit that you're saying. He can't and he won't, because his whole world is built on bullshit and fakery and fraudery and grifty fucking fake science, that none of which he can prove. But he's been able to scam the public out of millions of dollars for this level of fakery, fraud, and bullshittery. So you got to give him a little credit. Like, look, I gotta respect a scam. Like he's great at scamming morons with totally fake shit, no evidence for 30 years, but he's become a millionaire.
It's sort of like a 3D printing. It all comes out as one. And this is true of all the ET craft that have been analyzed after we've downed them in crash retrievals. And it's also true of parts of craft that have been studied by scientists I know who work under contract with either CIA or some tech company. And I think this would explain why the sphere itself, when you look at it, when we were boring into these little ports to get this metal sample, there were aspects of it that were integrated in the metal that looked like communication or perhaps little hair-like fiber optics or something, but they weren't like running along the outside wall or something. They're integrated into the actual skin and the thickness of the aluminum sphere.
Yeah, and I just want to say that he is not a metallurgist. He is not a material scientist. He's not qualified to make these leaps, but that won't stop him from doing it. He was an emergency room doctor. That's a far cry from a metallurgist or a materials scientist or an engineer, or a physicist that's familiar with the elemental makeup of different, amalgams. So even his, they call a con man, really the definition of a con man, it comes from the word confidence man. He is confidently spewing fake science, claiming some level of authority or to be some expert when he clearly is not a metallurgist, a physicist, a structural, like an engineer or somebody that would be familiar with metal and elements. This is why it works, because he's so confident in his bullshit. And I just want to take a moment to thank, I almost forgot, we missed one over on kick.com, and that is Ralph Family Treasure, who became a subscriber on Kick yesterday. So thank you for that, Ralph Family Treasure.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right. Proof of fiber optics in the aluminum shell. Oh, no, there's no proof of any of that. This fiber optics then shows a picture of cat hair and some dirt. Oh, you got to love the grift, man.
Which is very unusual. And it's not at all how we manufacture things. If you take apart any solid state device you have, it's a zillion little parts welded and put together. This is not how ET manufacturing happens. So I think all of this would indicate that we're dealing with a bona fide non-human extraterrestrial device. And then on top of it, you have
all of my fake science and leaps and bounds and conclusions I've drawn, not being an expert in any of the fields that I'm pretending to be, leads me to believe that this must be extraterrestrial. Maybe you're just an expert at seeing aliens everywhere, right? Trolley Troll says, it cracked me up when it was revealed that at the banquet in which he was the guest speaker, they served canned spaghetti. Holy shit, really? And you got to pay extra for the dinner. And they served the guests that were paying thousands of dollars fucking SpaghettiOs. Plan D, give it to Steven. He will make a wall with your names. Only here tonight on True Seekers. Yeah, let's get some support. I work and repair fiber optics in cars often. He doesn't know what he was talking about. Well, there you go. ET's manufacturing equals cat hair and dirt. That's right. You got to use any evidence you can when you're a UFO scammer.
Breakthrough that's just happened, where two separate teams of linguistic experts have analyzed the symbols and found that they were of a Proto-Sanskrit foundation or origin.
Oh, bullshit.
And those have been...
Somebody that was familiar with this could have copied this stuff from ancient languages and put it on the sphere to fool morons like Greer.
Those were...
Or, I don't... And the other thing is, I don't trust any of these so-called experts that he is, citing, because most of them work for Jaime Maussan, and their job is to keep the hoax going.
Words and symbols.
Even if they're a real doctor. And there's been verified cases of real scientists and doctors who took money from Jaime Maussan to help him push a fake hoax and add credibility to it, because they're scientists or doctors after all. Look at the fake mummy hoax. How many doctors did he get to say, oh, this is definitely alien or anomalous, this can't be human, And meanwhile, they're gluing llama skulls and, ripping apart dead people and putting them back together and making them look like aliens with plaster. It's despicable what they did. And the fact that Greer has tied his shit wagon to Jaime Maussan's kind of makes me happy, because they're two big scammers, and I want to see them scam together, because we know from both of their track records that this is all going to come crashing down. Or in many cases, these hoaxes just pitter patter away. They just slowly fade off into nothingness and nobody talks about them ever again, because they were what I'm telling you they are. Nothing burgers, hoaxes.
Have been translated, and it's sort of ominous, because it sort of seems to indicate at the time that was made of some catastrophic event that happened from the sun or some cosmic event. And we know that was at the time of the ending of the last ice age, and there were a lot of so-called earth changes and geophysical changes. The question is, why are now all of these, we have 5 videos of 5 separate Boogosphere activations now that we have received from
You're
Jaime
probably right,
Maussan
Buck.
out of Mexico City, because he's in touch with everyone in Colombia, South America, where these objects are happening in and around the vicinity of Buga, B-U-G-A, Colombia, which is how it got the name Boogosphere. And that would indicate that there's some kind of Boogosphere activations, plural, because there are multiple of them, that would, it could be portending that we're coming up on a time of significant geophysical changes or something. So it's a bit interesting,
tie in
to say the
apocalypse.
least.
Yeah.
So I think that's more to follow. I think what we're going to do at some point, they
You're
also
right,
found
Syrian
that when
gold,
people went
canned
into
spaghetti.
a room
It's
and
the booger
chanted
sphere.
mantras, which interestingly originate from Sanskrit, and the symbols on there are Proto-Sanskrit, the sphere starts putting out electromagnetic fields of energy.
No, it doesn't.
Anomalously.
No, it doesn't. They were using a fucking multimeter and claiming they were using an EMF meter. A multimeter level will measure certain things. I have a background in electronics. I know the difference between an EMF meter and a multimeter. They put a multimeter on it, which made a lot of people like Mick West and other skeptical people just laugh at the whole thing. Like, you don't even know the difference between an EMF meter and a multimeter. A multimeter measures things like capacitance, resistance, voltage, amperage. It doesn't measure electronic radiation. An EMF meter is required for that. But these fucking morons went live on a live stream and used a totally inappropriate, they basically faked EMF readings with a multimeter. It's comical. It's absolutely comical that they get away with this.
I wonder if I had a dream last night, actually, and if we went in and did a puja, which is all in Sanskrit, a whole long puja, and meditated and see what this sphere would do, if it would start interacting in any way. Now, a lot
Why
of
didn't he
people
do that?
who are new haven't followed this, but since the early 90s, I've told people that the Sanskrit language is the root of all Indo-European languages. Proto-Sanskrit would be just a very ancient version.
Notice how he's an expert in everything. He's an expert in metallurgy. He's an expert in how different alloys are manufactured by alien species. Now he's a language expert as well. And by the way, I don't know that he's wrong here, but he can't be an expert at all of these very distinct, important disciplines. But yet what you notice when you watch Greer is that he speaks like a con man, a confidence man. He speaks with total confidence about things that he is not educated in, has no formal training in, and that is kind of a telltale red flag that he's a bullshitter.
Of modern, what we have today as Sanskrit, but that the Sanskrit language, the words and the vibrations of those
the booty sphere, live on Fire Island,
are known as name and form. In other words, the word for water, akshmaniyam, you can use it and materialize water.
Yeah, just sit there and pretend it's not bullshit and you get paid.
You hear of the enlightened and masters being able to materialize objects with this kind of frequency and consciousness. Now, it's interesting that
but you'll never see somebody actually do that.
Sanskrit on it,
but just trust
seems
him,
to be
bro.
reacting to mantras. And of course, one of the foundational aspects of CE5 contact, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind contact, is the meditative state using those frequencies in the mantras. And, and this was something that I experienced when I was 18, where it was very clear to me that the science of consciousness and the whole Vedic knowledge, which, by the way, precedes any organized religion. People associate it with Buddhism and Hinduism, but that's not true. It actually precedes any of those. So I think it's very important for people to begin to connect a couple dots here.
And here's Ashton Forbes, and they're ignoring
the
him,
ancient
as well they
science
should.
of knowledge and even these ancient technologies, some of which are referred to a little bit in the Bhagavad Gita, the Vimanas, the UFOs flying around. But it seems to go back way to pre-recorded history. Now connect that dot and the science of consciousness and CE5 contact to the idea that this Boogosphere is actually an operating anti-gravity and communication device that seems to have not only the Proto-Sanskrit symbols on it, but seems to react to mantras being chanted.
I just want to say, listen, Ashton Forbes, are you retarded? You know he's talking about a hoax that's being promoted by Jaime Maussan. And yet you're all too willing to throw your grifter hat in with his. You know that Jaime Maussan is a huge hoax promoter. Do some research. You know, Ashton pretends that he's a great researcher. What, you can't research the people you're scamming with, you're grifting with? You don't know Jaime Maussan is a big, huge scammer grifter? He stole hundreds of thousands of dollars, scammed the public out of hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Roswell slides. That's just one of his scams. Then we've got all those alien mummy hoaxes that he's been scamming with over and over and over again. He keeps bringing them back out every few years when people forget how fake they were. And the guy that you're going to come here and lick his asshole is working directly with that guy, and you don't see a problem with your perceived credibility. But Ashton doesn't care because his grift is at an end. Look at him. He looks so sad. Look at, doesn't he look sad there? He looks so sad. Oh, man, I got a grift with Stephen Greer to keep my scam going. Oh, man, it's too bad.
In that frequency. So this gets into a very interesting analysis, and this is why
if this were real, the host would have real questions.
At this point, scrapping,
yeah,
and we're going to do a whole new film.
Of course, it's going to do
new
another
whistleblower testimony.
Oh, new fake
whistleblowers
whistleblowers
from the Boogosphere, and another breaking news story.
All of the Dr. Stephen Greer's whistleblowers turned out to be complete and total frauds. Let's see. He had Eric Hecker. You remember him? That's the guy who was unclogging toilets for a little bit in Antarctica and claimed that, you know, he uncovered weather weapon circuit boards and technology. Well, you're a fucking plumber. How do you know what a weather weapon circuit board looks like? But you don't. And then there was Michael Herrera, whose commanding officer came out and said that the story that he told was completely and totally fake. His commanding officer said that Michael Herrera was never out of his sight on deployment. So he just made up that whole story. And the list goes on and on and on. These people he called whistleblowers, they're nothing more than bullshitters. Not a one of them ever has any real evidence. Remember, Eric Hecker had documents that he said were top secret government documents. And on the top of them, they said classified as hell, right? Ha ha. Bree One Abroad says, isn't it odd that they have a video of the sphere flying around, which is highly likely to be a drone, flashing wire, and a net, but no video of it actually landing? Only a found video exists. Yeah, and it's completely unrelated to this Boogosphere. Loke is here. Greer is establishing dominance by droning on and not even acknowledging Ashton joining. Yeah, it looks that way, right?
Story is that we've received, I don't know, 6,000 pages so far of documents from a source who has been working with 7 defectors from illegal covert programs dealing with UAPs and UFOs.
Sure.
And some of them are quite
What's his name? This is another bluff. Every time he needs to, like, a prover maneuver, he comes up with you know, things like this. Well, we just got 6,000 pages from 7 different whistleblowers. They're all defected from people working covertly on alien technology. Great. What are those 7 people's names? Let me interview them. Let me examine their documents so that we can verify and fact check the veracity of that claim. Nope. They're top secret. I can't tell you. It's a bluff. It's a bluff. He doesn't have shit. He's never had shit. He's been the king of bluffing UFO morons that he has more information than he actually does for decades.
Explosive in terms of exposing what was going on with some of the aerospace contractors who were gaslighting and deceiving the U.S. government. What the senior CIA guy I've known since the 90s calls the Rat Pack. And that will be a great little sub chapter of this new film, the Rat Pack. And he talks about how they have been deceiving the U.S. government.
Well, it's another big grifting opportunity.
And the UFO community for, quote, decades. I'm quoting.
Yeah,
from an email he sent me.
He always is.
Some years ago, after the whole
scumbag
kerfuffle happened with the Tic Tac and Lou Elizondo and that whole Rat Pack of disinformation operatives. Now we have documents connecting all of them
in at Lou
to receiving millions of dollars in research funds
Yeah, me too.
through
Make the world much more
Bigelow
interesting.
Aerospace, and then reporting
But they
back
never do.
falsified conclusions on things like the Tic Tac. And so, and yet at the same time, it has a lot of
The
information
Rat Pack.
on real research that's very interesting. So now it's going to take us a while to go through all
Well,
of
nobody
that.
can
We're
get
gonna
a
have to
word
have
in
an AI
edgewise when
program
Greer's ranting.
to be able to go through this volume of material, because I'd go blind looking through all of them word by word. But it's an extraordinary development. The other thing to
He's gotta
realize
grin
is
it.
that
He's
we're
gotta
going to be
just take
receiving
it.
more of these documents apparently, and there may be some new whistleblowers related to it. So we're going to do
more
an
new fake
entirely
whistleblowers.
new outline of this film and pivot to something that is just to catch up with the amazing breakthroughs of the last month or so. All of this, I'm telling you, is happening.
He's on
in the last
he's
30
been on
days.
a
So
12-minute
this is where you
monologue.
sort of
Yes.
stop the presses and say, okay, now we have something 10 times more explosive to reveal that will be
She
coming
took
out.
him on.
And we
She
hope we
yelled
can
at him.
finish this so it comes out in 2026 sometime.
Yeah, so I can get
So
another $1
that's
million
our goal
mansion.
with the new film we're going to be
More
doing.
fake stories. Great job.
And then just one
Greer.
other thing, we will be doing a Gaia-sphere event in November. Unfortunately, the dates aren't here on my sheet, but it's sometime in November.
Didn't even say hello.
Nothing. We're going to
Just
do a
kept right on
fundraiser
ranting.
for all this disclosure work on the Friday night before the Gaia-sphere event. So if you want to help us, you want to have a small private gathering with me.
Yeah,
we're going
it's
to have a whole
$10,000
evening for major significant funders who want to help fund this, because we're encountering enormous expenses, not only with the film but with the scientific analysis of all of this material, and also the investigators who are liaisoning with us.
He's getting ignored for like 5 minutes straight here.
Senior law enforcement officials in the United States,
Super weasel
who
face.
are now moving very quickly. I will tell you that the most important developments in disclosure you are not going to see on the internet or on the news, or certainly not in a congressional hearing as they are currently configured. It's happening in the sphere of covert investigators on the side of disclosure, working with the most senior law enforcement people in the United States. And that is what's happening and it's happening very quickly. Now, I am liaisoning that information confidentially to certain members of Congress, and they're aware of it and are cooperating. So that's about all I can say about that, just because I have to hold some of this confidential because I've agreed to do so. So that's sort of a quick trip update on all of that. And one of the things I also want to mention is that with these new documents, one of the things that stood out to me was the amount of money.
Yeah, you start betting your ear about aliens.
Right? I don't know if you guys remember, during COVID, I think it was in 2021, General Herbert, Bob Herbert, he had been sort of right hand to Senator Harry Reid, who was the majority leader of the Senate back in the day. And Herbert had left the Pentagon as a general and was an assistant on the UFO/UAP issue for Senator Reid, who was very interested in this. His home state was Nevada. And Senator Reid ended up mentoring Senator Marco Rubio, who, as co-chair of the Senate Intelligence Committee.
And this is all according to who? Greer. There's no source of this information. There's no primary source that you could track down that will agree that this is true and accurate information. This is just Greer telling stories, which is all Greer does, tell stories with no actual facts, no evidence, right?
Along with the chairman, Senator Warner, really began to drill down a few years ago on the UAP issue. And I had been asked, of course, to go in and provide information in a SCIF, a secure compartment information facility.
I would doubt that's true as well,
because they had been investigating.
He keeps claiming he's briefing important people, and it always turns out to be lies.
Interestingly, the chief investigator, who would be the equivalent of a three-star general if he'd stayed in the Pentagon, told me that he went out to the Lockheed Skunk Works and ended up finding a bunch of old antique jets and stuff, and he knew he was being lied to and gaslit. He was smart enough to know he was, and that's when they reached out to us. And
He's
then
just
everything
ignored
changed, frankly.
Ashton for
So,
fucking
of
7
course, there's
minutes now.
a new leadership at the
Wait,
Senate
let's see. How
Intelligence
many
Committee
minutes has he
and a new
ignored
chair
Ashton
and
Forbes?
co-chair because Mr. Rubio became the Secretary of State, as you know, a few months ago. But at any rate,
Yep.
that's what's going on.
He's ignored
at that
Ashton from
level.
us
And
8
around
minutes now.
before that time, however, General Herbert contacted me. He says, "Look,
Ashton,
we
how does it
gave
feel?
10
How does it feel to be a fucking set piece and a prop in Greer's scam? Because that's all you are. You're a set piece and a prop, you moron. You got fucked by Greer without lube too. Ooh.
the millions of dollars to Bigelow Aerospace, which was Robert Bigelow, who I'd met
Yeah,
in
change her
1993
batteries.
at
She's
Lawrence
nearly
Rockefeller's
gone.
ranch.
That's right.
He was a billionaire of Las Vegas who had a hotel chain. And then he had gotten intercepted by Colonel John Alexander and a number
Just checking in with the goal. I'm nervous when we're on a streak that we're gonna end the streak, and it's not looking good. 3 of 20 for the goal tonight so far. So let's get some support. Every bit helps. Some more super chats. I will read them out as soon as they come in. But we haven't had any. Let's get some support, bitches. Suffa Ashton. That's correct. Ashton ain't no Demi Lovato. Greer won't shut the hell up. That's correct. Raven or Sexy Wilcock. I'll do either, right? Whatever you guys want. If you want the Sexy Wilcock praise the cash bumpers, yeah, Ashton looks like Dahmer. That's right.
other people who were in this disinformation rat pack that have been operational since the
Another
70s and 80s.
big at Elizondo.
Bigelow Aerospace had a contract to do a report on all of this.
I love how he calls other people disinformation agents when all he puts out is disinformation agents. Chill Station 7 is hearing the call of the goal, saying Forbes is just sitting there like Hassan's dog. That is correct, Chill Station 7.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Raise the cash. It's like music to my ears. Let's get, wait, what do we need? Let's get 16 more and keep our goal streak going, my friends. The reason why I said Greer did a talk segment with big time celebrities like Demi Lovato. Yeah, he does. But you know, a lot of celebrities get access to these top tier UFO grifters.
To the U.S. government. And it was at the
Probably
initial amount
dropping
was
big
$22 million.
donations.
And of course, this came all out in the Wall Street Journal and New York Times some years ago. But what they ended up giving General Herbert and Senator Reid, quote unquote, was not even a snapshot from 40,000 feet. In other words,
And again, none of
we
this
didn't get
stuff he's saying can be
anything
verified.
Meanwhile,
This is just Greer
in
telling
these
stories.
files that we have obtained from internally are all the hot stuff they did find and do have
Exactly.
on crash
Nobody has
retrievals,
ever done that.
on all kinds of tech, on the science.
Yeah, nobody has ever called him on his
equations
bullshit.
and formulae for gravity control, anti-gravity, whatever you want to call it, 0 point, all this. And this is what we've just received. And it's several thousand pages. I think it's 5,000 or 6,000 pages.
Wow.
But what I'm saying,
In a minute, we're going to be up to 20 minutes, and Ashton hasn't said one word yet because he's being used as a prop. And Greer is using him because Greer knows, like, wow, that Ashton Forbes guy built his whole following on complete and total fake shit. So his fake morons that follow him will probably really value my fake bullshit and buy into it, because Ashton Forbes fans and viewers are basically mentally challenged retards. And so Greer needs those stupid people. Like, these scams work on stupid people. So I think Greer is using Forbes to get to his moron followers and harvest some of them.
Here is that there's a lot to go through, to say the least. I'm going to have to redact anything that could be an operating system that could be weaponized, because I have a responsibility to do so. And I have promised the government since Clinton that that's what we would do. since these can be very dangerous technologies.
As if he talked to
But
Clinton.
the
He never
scandal
talked to
of all this,
Clinton.
quite frankly,
He never talked to any
is that
president. He's
what
full
was
of
given to
shit.
the people who used Pentagon funding, but was authorized by Congress back in the early 2000s to get to the bottom of this,
Boy, if
ended up
Ashton
being
Forbes got
whitewashed
vodka in that,
and
he's going to be
watered
drunk before he
down.
says one
And
word.
yet they were doing all this other work, right, under clandestine contracts with the Defense Intelligence Agency and other
He's trying to
entities.
overwhelm.
So we can now prove this through these documents. Now, the question then becomes, how many crimes were committed by taking those sums of money from the government and covering up their findings?
Yep, trust
Because,
me, bro.
and this is exactly what Dr. Kirkpatrick did with Arrow.
You're right. That's why the scam works.
Congress passed
They
laws
won't do real interviews.
and
They
funded an
can't,
office to get to the
because their
bottom of the
bullshit is
UAP
so
UFO issue.
easily
And that
seen
became an
through.
operation which we can now prove, and which
Me
has
too.
been
And I'm
concluded,
trying
by
to
the
run a
way,
show,
by
YOY
certain members
fools.
of Congress and senior U.S. federal law enforcement.
Surely
as
you would
having
take a
been
picture with the
cover-up
president if you met
operation.
him. He
So
doesn't
there
have
you're
any
talking
pictures
about
with
multiple
presidents.
felonies of
None.
defrauding the government, abuse and misuse of government funds, et cetera, and so on.
And here's another Greer talking point that he uses every time. There are illegal entities, governments within government. They're doing illegal things with the funding they're being given, like hiding UFOs and hiding aliens. He's never produced a single shred of evidence for any of these statements that he's been making for decades, accusing people within the government of major crimes, including murder, right? And then there's also, Greer once claimed that 2 members of his staff got murdered. Remember that? They both died of natural causes. I spoke to both of their families, and neither of their families are very happy that Greer's running around telling people that their loved one got murdered when they both died of natural causes.
The only question is going to be, do we have enough now to prove all this? Yes.
Impressive.
The question is, how much stomach is there to go to prosecution, right? That's where it becomes very political,
Exactly.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
There's something
all we
wrong
can
with
do is
him.
put the facts together and make our recommendations to the Congress and to the president and to the Department of Justice and the FBI, et cetera. But that is where that is. And I will tell you that this is very explosive information. So this new documentary we're going to do, I think, could probably be spun off into a whole series that'll be dealing with not only this ancient,
it's like 12 minutes now he's been ignoring Ashton Forbes.
Human object, the Boogosphere object.
He can't shut the fuck up. Listen to him. He's still going.
But now we have all this recent history, and you'll look at the timing of it. In 2001,
you're right, Brookers. Yes.
We did the National Press Club event that kicked off.
He is a common idiot. You're right. Yeah.
This whole period. Now, we had been doing it before then, but it was quiet, and it was not that public. It was called Project Starlight, which was a code name that I didn't give it. A man who was friends with the CIA director for Bill Clinton named it, and that's when we had our first gatherings of top secret whistleblowers in 1995, and then in 1997 for members of Congress. And
neither of these 2 people, besides Greer, have said more than 2. Like that girl just said, "Oh, we're going to have an interesting, exciting show tonight." And then Greer just started babbling. We're 22 minutes in and Greer hasn't stopped babbling yet. He's got 2 other people that he's supposed to be having a conversation with that he's completely ignored in favor of just endlessly babbling on. Something.
Once we realized that neither the president nor Congress were going to get to do anything,
he is on serious crack cocaine. Yes.
What's now known as the launch of the global disclosure movement in 2001 at the National Press Club with 22 of these witnesses and whistleblowers. But
none of which had any real evidence.
I debriefed over 700 or 800 of them. And we have new ones coming in all the time.
He's debriefed all these people. Then show us all the evidence that all 700 people have. Because I'm pretty sure that it would fit in a fucking coin purse at this point, right? You have no evidence. It doesn't matter how many people you talk to if all of them have no evidence. Tina T with one for the goal. Do you think Beefy Greer does more steroids or Ozempic? Up in there looking like the meeting guy in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, there have been rumors that he was on steroids. I think he was a bodybuilder for a time, which is gross. And he was also on Grinder, allegedly on Grinder, looking for guys to suck their cocks and to have his cock sucked. Apparently, even though he's married and has children, he's a big fan of being a bottom bitch and like getting butt banged and blowing dudes. At least that's the rumors. And by the way, that's rumors that are all over UFO land. And if you look, I mean, you could just Google Dr. Stephen Greer gay dating profile, and you'll find all kinds of stuff, right? But thank you, Tina T. And I'm sorry to start talking about butt banging. I should have just addressed your comment a little more directly. So please pardon the butt bang comments, Tina T.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
I don't know. Maybe Greer got like him being butt banged from the aliens, because apparently, isn't it Grinder, the gay dating site? I don't know. I'm not gay, and I got married before dating. Well, no, I didn't get married before dating sites. I was in a committed long-term relationship before dating sites were a thing. Like, I never met a woman from a dating site in my life. I always met women in real life. That's, the way we did it back then. You went outside or you went to social events to meet women, Anyway, the rumor was that he was on gay dating websites and people found pictures that seems like it was him. I don't know.
And there's another whole group of 7 that are very key that have just surfaced that have dealt specifically with the technologies and the 0 point electrogravitics and things of this sort.
So now he's going to get into the
continues
free
to
energy
grow,
scam.
And, we do appreciate everyone's help and support, because we are not receiving money from the government or a corporation.
No, you're just
We're doing
making
this
millions
all out
from
of our own
morons.
ability to fund it and raise the funds to do it on a not just U.S. scale, but on a global scale, all over the world, as well as operations that we have in United Kingdom, Canada, and elsewhere. So those of you who can help and come to our event in Boulder in November, I think Raven probably knows the dates.
Yeah, it's November. Our fundraiser is November 7th, and then the Guysphere event is the 8th and 9th on that weekend.
Yeah, so it'd be fun to see everybody there who can make it. And hopefully also the weekend in the Guysphere will be fun.
Oh yeah,
we'll be talking a lot
more
about
bullshit.
The Bugosphere and the Gaiasphere, which is kind of funny, but why not? So that's sort of a quick update of the last couple weeks that we've been pulling this together. The metallurgy report we will release at some point. We're trying to get clearance from the lab to put their name onto it as we release it. Normally it's a very high-end lab, but
come on.
Once we have that answer, we'll know if
That's
going to be
bullshit.
redacted.
If you pay a lab to do an analysis, you're allowed to say who it is. He's not saying who it is, so people can't fact check him. It could very well be that nobody did an analysis, full stop, because he's the king of bluffing fake evidence.
Acted or not, but as soon as we have that answer,
we're 24 minutes in and nobody has said anything except for Greer. 24 minutes you've been babbling, Greer. Shut the fuck up and let some other grifters talk.
We release the full report. It's 110 pages of metallurgy analysis on the metal components.
Gaia TV series coming soon. Yeah.
Great.
This guy is
we
so
have
fake.
Mr. Ashton Forbes that has joined us. So
yes.
Thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Good to talk to you, Dr. Greer.
Greer just said, we have a guest that I've been ignoring for 12 minutes while I was babbling. Didn't he see him on the fucking screen? Like, come on.
Good to see you. Good work. So just to pivot now from what we were talking about to what Mr. Forbes has to share, just in a way of introduction, Ashton sort of has been the lead person looking into the Malaysian 370 flight.
No, he is the only person looking into these fake videos that he claims are connected to the MH370. There's no proof they're connected at all to MH370. So factually inaccurate introduction. But don't worry, the morons watching both of you fucking scumbag grifting con artist hoaxers are not going to know the difference. These guys prey on low information viewers. They don't prey on intelligent people that can do their own fact checking.
Vanished, that no traces were found. some years ago, and had received some footage of a very unusual
Proof of life before we
series
turn
of
100 years old.
spheres going around the jet, and there was a big flash of light, and it
He is a
vanished. Now, of
lunatic.
course, I don't have any inside information on that, so I wanted Mr. Forbes to come and share this. And if you can, Ashton,
In other words, I don't have any information because I did zero research about this. Come on, Greer. This guy is claiming that a 747 got teleported out of the sky by alien plasma spheres. You fucking moron. You can't like do basic fact checking. Could you like Google it and find out that all the videos are fake? Oh, you didn't do that because then you couldn't scam his audience members, right? This is all about getting to new victims. That's why grifters collaborate. That's why these scammers collaborate. They're all about getting to their other grifter audiences so that they can scam those too. And as lazy as these con artists are, they know it's easy. Like if these people are dumb enough to believe this guy Ashton Forbes with these fake as shit, proven fake 100 times over videos, then they'll believe my fake stories that are evidence free that I've been telling for decades.
You can just go through it for people who don't know much about this case. You know, the dates, what had happened, how you came about the footage, what witnesses there are.
The footage came from a hoax UFO YouTube channel, you moron.
And just do a synopsis for our viewers.
Oh, this
yeah, definitely. And the reason why I'm so excited to talk to you is that a lot of my research has led me back to you. Actually, I think that out of all, I've learned all the lore of the UFO community and the major players, and you by far and away have talked to the legit Black Project engineers that know.
No, he claims to have. Have you seen any proof that he actually has talked to Black Project engineers? You fucking moron. Do you know he said he briefed every president since Ronald Reagan? Do you know that he said that multiple people in his organization were assassinated and I proved that they weren't? You moron. But go ahead, lick his balls some more, Ashton Forbes. Lick his balls. Do it.
The science, know the physics, have clearly worked in the programs, have the NDA.
He doesn't know the science. He doesn't know the physics. He's a moron who speaks in pseudoscience word salad garbage talk.
Can't speak about it. So that's why I wanted to get your insight and share some information of my own from my own research. So first thing is that the videos were not given to me. The videos have been on the internet since 2014. Like these are,
and they've been hoaxes
leaked
since
footage
2014.
that was thrown on the internet.
They're not true hoaxes.
That everybody discredited.
They're not leaked footage. They're CGI creations. They were made. They're not real footage, Ashton. And nothing you do will make that statement true. Because every CGI expert that has looked at them has said they're fake, and here's why. And there's some major points of agreement, like they were made from static image backgrounds. The clouds are fake. The clouds don't move. They use stock assets that were used in early video games.
And look into because it just looked so incredible. No one could believe it was real. And we were not familiar with the military systems that were being depicted. We didn't have like the go fast, the gimbal.
Now Forbes is going to talk for 25 minutes straight.
Those FLIR footages back in 2014, that was like 2017, 2018 that those videos were publicly acknowledged. The other one is, I don't know if you can share the video that I've put up here. This is the big one, is that I've identified this one video to be Gorgon stare wide area motion imagery. And there's had multiple confirmations. So
what is that? I've never, people don't know what those words mean.
Yeah, it's classified still to this day, which is why people haven't been speaking up about it. But this is essentially a drone flying above the airplane, an MQ-9 Reaper drone that has pods underneath each wing. And it's taking photos all the time, circling around.
No, there have been several experts on that observation platform that have told Ashton Forbes to his face, or at least on Twitter, this is not Gorgon stare footage. And here's why. I'm an expert in that. So just like Ashton Forbes ignores all the CGI experts that say these videos are fake and they're CGI creations, and here's why, and showed the proof of it. Ashton ignores all those CGI experts. He's also ignored all the drone experts who said this cannot be Gorgon stare or MQ-9 Reaper footage, and here's why it can't be. He's ignoring all of the experts, claiming that he knows better than all of the experts that actually worked with those observation platforms.
Area. And what it does is it beams this through a relay satellite, which you can actually see in the bottom left, NROL 22. That's a real relay satellite, USA 184. It relays that information to like PACCOM or whatever the Special Forces Joint Intelligence Network.
Yeah, they debrief each other.
This would have been only primarily accessible in a skiff somewhere, like some secured facility where they have intelligence analysts who are reviewing it. And it's basically like Google Earth video playback. Presumably.
Well, if it was so classified, wouldn't the government contact YouTube and tell them to take it off of YouTube? They never did that. That should be your first tip there, Ashton, that this isn't real footage, you fucking moron, you retarded mongoloid.
Only in the regions where they have the drones, or there may be other capabilities. This version of it, we believe, is increment 2 based on the frame rate. It looks like the plane's kind of jerky. It's only about 6 frames per second. Nowadays, they apparently have stuff that's much better than this. But that's why it looks like the screen's moving around. That's why the clouds don't look like they move very much. There's parallax.
No, they'll be at each other's throats, calling each other.
But this is a real. And also, the last point is that you see that cursor that closes that window out there at the end.
Right.
That's a big clue, because it shows that with these whammy systems, they have a big map, and then they can press somewhere on the screen.
This fake video again. Yeah.
And it's like
what's a whammy? What's a whammy? If you use an acronym, you need.
Imagery.
So yeah, okay. So just as a rule, since we're talking to the general public, if you use an acronym, define it the first time, and then we can use the acronym.
Yeah. So it has like 3 different names. They also call it
Look at
WASP,
Greer
Wide Area Airborne.
You got to be a better grifter,
then,
Ashton. Here's
Wide Area Motion Imagery. So it's a computer system that
your
uses
acronyms.
photos from the sky and produces that footage. So that's the big one.
As
and then
a
I'll just
rule.
share the other video. Is there's 2 drones that were recording this from
There's
different
no
angles.
rule about actually
And
providing
the second one's
evidence,
also
though.
an MQ-9 Reaper drone.
No, it's
and
not.
you can see, I mean, you can see the drone right there. It's actually under hard point number 5 is where this camera is situated. My sources tell me that it's a Lightning G4 by Northrop Grumman, which has color FLIR capability. So it's just an overlay they can put over the FLIR footage, essentially, to show this thermal gradient. And this one's so important because you can see that these are plasma. These orbs are actually plasma. So they're really a drone, actually, that's being encased in plasma.
No,
just like
not.
we, in our spy planes, we use a plasma sheath to reduce
CGI, you moron.
Hypersonic spy planes or supersonic spy planes. The same concept here. The extra bit that we see, these dark
UFO
lines
daddy
that come
mad.
before and after the plasma, this is actually indicative of a field reverse configuration or a plasmoid. You may be familiar with the terminology, where they're essentially using the exhaust, so to speak, from this fusion reactor in the middle of this as propulsion. And then, as you see there, this is the first question I had for you. The plane disappears like in a flash, but as the orbs converge on the plane, and when I started researching this, the first thing that came up was wormholes. And I believe that that is truly a real wormhole, but it's more of how it's being accomplished. That's the amazing part about it.
With
Even
CGI,
this version
it's being
was actually
accomplished
built
with
into the
CGI,
original
you
footage that was
fucking moron.
first found on the internet, which tells us that whoever leaked this, they wanted us to like understand what these plasma spheres really are, what they're made out of, how they function. You can see this weird heat signature in them, which
there's no heat
seems to mean that it's a non-equilibrium plasma, like the electrons have been separated from the ions and they're being kept separated intentionally to build up a charge.
From a 240p video,
and then this last bit here, I'll just go ahead and spoil what I think it is, then I want to get your opinion. Is that from my research, I think those are plasma fusion propulsion, that what we're seeing with those plasma orbs. I think Lockheed Martin's definitely implicated in this for sure. They had a compact fusion reactor that went dark. Right. And I think that what we're seeing is a thermonuclear weapon. I think it's literally a thermonuclear weapon in the sense that the plasma orbs are acting as a polyhedral fission trigger.
Yeah, throw in a lot of big words so people think you're smart and actually know science. By the way, a real scientist ripped him to shreds on all his fake pseudoscience jargon. It's all fake. Ashton Forbes is the fakest grifter I've ever seen. And the fact that years have gone by and he's still pretending those videos are real tells you everything you need to know about Ashton Forbes. His entire self-worth has been tied to this fake hoax, and he cannot give it up. There's been several times where he conceded the videos were fake, and then he went back and came up with new excuses for why they can't be fake. They're fake. They're fake as shit. And so's your entire scammy career.
And that on board that plane was
I love after he got caught with the free energy scam. By the way, both these individuals ran free energy scams. Dr. Stephen Greer ran 2 separate free energy scams. Once where he collected money from the public to build a free energy device, never built anything, made some excuses for what happened to the, I think it was hundreds of thousands of dollars they collected. And then he collected $500,000 just to make a film about free energy. Take from that what you will. And Ashton Forbes actually tried to sell free energy devices. Why can't either of these 2 ass clowns show us a working free energy device? Greer collected, by some accounts, over $1 million for free energy. $500,000 for a film, and some say $500,000 to create a free energy device and then open source it. He didn't create shit, and he didn't open source anything. If both these people are going to sit here with a straight face and tell you free energy is real, but don't worry, I know how to do it for a price, then show us. Show us a working free energy device. Again, call their bluffs. And why does no interviewer? There's a reason he has to pay a bullshit facilitator. Raven, great job. Did you know, Raven, that Greer ran 2 separate free energy scams? Did you know that Ashton Forbes, the guy you're sitting there on this stream with, ran a free energy scam? And then what did Ashton say? Oh, I don't have to prove that it works. I know it works. Yeah, great. As he's scamming people for a device that he's never even verified actually works. It's despicable what these scumbags do and get away with. But you got to admire that nobody's getting arrested after scamming how much money out of the public. And in Ashton's case, listen, how the fuck can he collect super chats telling people those videos are real for years on end, and that's not consumer fraud? When every CGI expert that's ever looked at them, to my knowledge, has said they're fake, and here's why. He's collected, I don't know, how many super chats have you collected? How much money have you collected on your live streams about these fake as shit videos and this fake hoax nonsense? Tens of thousands? 20,000, 30,000? Some people say he's collected $50,000 to $100,000 in super chats, all while telling people those videos are real, when every expert that looks at him says those videos are fake. And look at this. Mike Larry comes to grace us with his presence. Yes, Mike Larry in the house. Always happy to see Mike Larry, because that means he comes and drops a sub bomb. And he's done so today. 20 True Seekers gifted memberships. And this, my friends, is why you've got to hit that subscribe button. Because when a kind and generous benefactor, one of the biggest benefactors here, he's one of our whales, Mike Larry is one of the MVPs of gifting these True Seekers memberships. So when he comes in and graces us with his presence, what's going on with my hair? Jeez. And yeah, there we go. When he comes here and graces us with his wonderful beneficial presence and generous presence, you could win a free membership. 20 people have just won a free True Seekers channel membership. But in order to win one, you must be a subscriber. So hit that subscribe button. Maybe he's going to feel more generous later, or someone else will feel generous. I'm sure somebody is going to give some more memberships tonight. And if you are a subscriber, you could win one, but you must be a subscriber. So big shout out and thank you for the kindness and generosity to Mike Larry, the big MVP. He's expanding our True Seekers memberships. But every time he does this, he makes me work harder, because we're up to 4 or 5 members-only videos this month. I got to crank out a few more because Mike Larry has expanded our membership by hundreds of new members. And thank you, Mike Larry, for that and for your kindness, generosity, and support. Big support. Dono bomb, Mike Larry. Let's go.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your generosity. Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Thank Thank you, Mike Larry. And Grass Toucher says free energy is real for a price. Well, yeah, that's the scam. That's the scam part of it. But nobody has ever in the history of free. Go look at how many people have claimed free energy is real. And all the people, thousands of people who have run free energy scams, how many have actually proven it with the device being measured by, like, real scientists? Not one. Amber Geddon says, I read an article with Marco Rubio saying that UFOs are flying over restricted nuclear facilities, and there's a documentary appearing on Prime Video November 21st called The Age of Disclosure. The Age of Disclosure is shit. It's garbage. It's being run by the same people that have been pushing this bullshit since 2016 and never proved anything, right? But thank you, Amber Geddon. Good to see you here. Welcome. Now it's a party because Amber Geddon is here in the house with some good points. And the UFOs are flying over restricted nuclear airspace is an old UFO grifter talking point, I think, right? Well, we're counting the super chats, not the total there, Plan D, but let's get some super chats and actually hit the super chat goal. We're at 5 of 20. We need 15 more kind and generous souls to stand up, be counted, and God bless the goal for us, right? Only need 15 more, and they have to be 5 or more to count for the goal. 15 more. I was close, Cambion. Well, yeah, but we count the super chats for the goal. Scammers have no souls, basically. Yes, Dr. Stephen Greed. I should have done the mask tonight, right? If we hit the goal, I'll do the Stephen Greed mask. I'll go get it, and I will end the show as Dr. Stephen Greed, live on stream here. Be mounted and counted. Amber Geddon says that means Marco Rubio's a grifter, or he just believes the bullshit that people are, spewing at him with no actual discernment, no fact checking. He does have a quote I really like, and he once said, either some of this stuff is true or we have a bunch of lunatics working for the United States government. And guess what? Spoiler alert, it's not true. There is a bunch of lunatics, UFO wackadoos working for the United States government.
A whole bunch of lithium-ion batteries, and it turns out that lithium is one of 3 aneutronic fusion fuels, and it's used in thermonuclear weapons. So I think that, long story short, that we learned how to manipulate space-time when we were building nukes. And then when we turned them into clean nukes, clean fusion bombs, we really started to manipulate space-time in a significant sense.
We know how to manipulate space-time. Trust me, bro.
Right. And so getting back to the provenance of all this, which is all important, because, in the era of deep fakes and computer generated graphics and images and video and motion graphics,
good luck with that.
People are always going to say, and I've been doing this for 35 years now, if it's a really good photograph, it's CGI. If it's not crystal clear, it doesn't tell you anything. They're always going to come up with an excuse.
The exact same as he was in 2010.
What I have found is that you have to nail down the provenance, meaning the history, origin, and credibility of the origin.
Yes, and in this case, the origin of those videos was a UFO hoax YouTube channel that hosted many fake, provably 100% fake UFO videos. That's the origin. That's where he got them from. A YouTube channel that specializes in fake UFO videos. Good point, Greer. But you know that Ashton's going to make up a bunch of bullshit now to try to cover the fact that he got them from a UFO hoaxer channel on YouTube that had many, many fake UFO videos on their channel at one point. Trolly troll troll, 5 for the goal. 5. Oh, I shouldn't use that anymore. People are crying in the comments. They don't like that noise. Sorry. Trolly troll troll with 1 for the goal. Come on, don't you want to see Stephen in a Stephen Greer mask? Absolutely we do, right? Yes, and thank you, Trolly Troll Troll. Trolly Troll Troll is a long-time, big-time show supporter, and we appreciate that very much.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Hey, and we've got Urban Terra standing up and hearing the call of the goal, standing up to be counted as a big show supporter, saying, praise the goal. That is correct, my friends. Praise the goal. And thanks, Urban Terror's making it rain up in here with one double of the goal. You should have did 2, Urban Terror, so we can get to that goal. But we'll take it. Thank you, Urban Terror. Much, much appreciated. All right, let's continue with the cavalcade of bullshittery. So Greer just said, where did these videos come from? Now, is Ashton Forbes going to tell the truth and say, I got them from a UFO hoax channel that had many UFO fake videos on their channel at one point? Is he going to tell the truth here, or is he going to make up some bullshit? I know what I'm betting.
Without which you got bumpkiss. Just a word to the wise. I mean, I've been doing this a very long time.
Yeah, you ready for this? So the leaker
this is
of the
what
video.
We got to hear. We got to hear. You know who had this footage? How can we prove that this leaker had access to it, and his provenance, and also a few jurisdictional questions? Where exactly was this event when it vanished? Let's just say it did happen as shown.
Tell me about when you got scammed. Yes.
The person who leaked it, what was his nationality?
7 of 20, almost halfway to the goal.
Things like that are going to be very important for what we're doing.
So, and I'll share just one more image right away, because the location is super important, because that's actually Malaysian Airlines Flight 370. It's not meant to look like MH370. It just literally is. If you pull up this kind of, I built this into Google Earth here. It
is because he said it is. He has no proof that it is.
The real path of MH370, starting from Kuala Lumpur when it went dark over the South China Sea. And then later on, we found out it turned around and went back towards Penang Airport, which is a place that you would land. And then it makes another deviation. This was still tracked by military radar when it starts going northwest here. And then you see the military radar lost at 1822 UTC.
Okay, so he's going to like filibuster. Just keep talking and avoid the fact that the original videos came from a UFO hoax channel. That's where he got them. Regicide Anand, who had a bunch of fake UFO videos on his channel at one point with these fake UFO videos. But don't let things like, you know, the origin source of the so-called data he has get in the way. He'll just muddy the waters now with fresh bullshit to try to, you know, obfuscate. Greer asked, where did the videos come from? What is the proof they're leaked videos? He has no proof they're leaked videos because they're fake videos. They're CGI videos. Where did you get the videos, Ashton? You got them from a hoax UFO channel. Full stop. The videos are fake. Your whole scammy career is fake.
Just because this is flat, it's not a straight line, but this would basically be a straight line going to the northwest up here to where you see it says satellite video.
3,000 and look like
these are the real coordinates in that whammy.
3,000 for a zip file.
You. And this is what, 20 minutes away from the last radar plot that was publicly known by the Malaysian government. Now, also note there's a witness, Catherine T, this woman here. I've spoken to Catherine T. She's a real person that really saw the plane on fire, glowing orange, right in the path of where this plane is being shown in those videos. So the providence, or at least the evidence that shows that
there is no evidence that it's legitimate.
A real person who saw the plane and a report in China Times that was not reported in.
He's connecting dots that don't connect. Well, this woman saw the plane on fire, so those fake videos have to be real. Why is the plane not on fire in the videos? There's some hot spots, but that's CGI creation, you loser.
Western media that claimed to be an intercepted communication of the pilot saying that the plane was attempting an emergency landing and disintegrated, which is corroborated by the witnesses citing in both those videos I just showed you. Now, the real thing that people want to know when it comes to the providence is...
So here's a question.
A plane disintegrating and teleporting out of existence into a wormhole is two different things, you loser.
Question. Wait, let's stop. So the plane was on fire before these plasmoids appeared and it vanished?
Correct.
So in other words, timelines are very important. Which came first?
Yeah, let me pull that back up. So the plane starts on fire, I presume, if I pull that back up
Spooky
here.
says, God bless the gold.
At the top right, where the plane goes dark, 1722 UTC.
We need 13
why does
more.
The plane go dark and why does the plane turn around? A lot of people expected fire, actually. Actually, the lithium-ion batteries as well, but they weren't known for over a week after the plane disappeared, and I think that was covered up. Personally, I think the whole thing was an operation. I think they planted those batteries on the plane dual purpose. One, to start the diversion, to force the plane to turn around. And then at some point, why doesn't it land at Penang? That's where I think the United States military comes over the comms and says, come to the rendezvous point, which is those coordinates that I just showed you. And they probably said something like, try to land in the water and we'll fish you out of the water. And instead they deployed those orbs on the plane, which was all part of the operation, presumably, or maybe there was backup plans and, something didn't go according to plan. But that's my question for the U.S. government. What I can tell you for sure, so this plane would have been on fire, but not like an uncontrollable fire, like a controlled fire by batteries that were intended to start on fire, that were intended not to take down the plane. They were also had a dual purpose, potentially as a neutronic thermonuclear weapon.
A neutronic thermonuclear weapon. Wow, so big words from a grifter.
This is the reason why we would have never found the plane. This is why the whole south. The other point is that location I showed you where the plane is at, is at the same location where they claim the plane takes a sharp south turn into the South Indian Ocean, flies for like 5 hours, and supposedly crashes. Only problem, we never found anything down there.
Yes,
and then
they
we find
did.
This debris that shows up.
There's been multiple pieces of debris of the plane found, verified that it came from the plane. So what? Pieces of the plane blew off when it was teleported into the wormhole, you fucking moron?
It shows up, we would expect it to show up in the coast of Australia, because that's where the plane crashed off the coast of Australia. The ocean currents go to the east. But instead we find all the debris, which is only about 10 pieces, 15 pieces at most. I do think it's from MH370. We find it in Africa, a completely different continent. And actually, in order for this to begin to make sense, we need the plane to either go in the water or have a final destination much closer to Africa.
I will say this. He has very finely rehearsed fake talking points. But his evidence is basically, look, guys, I put all this bullshit together from completely disparate data points that have nothing to do with one another. But follow me along my conspiracy. The plane got teleported into a wormhole,
and where we've been searching in the South Indian Ocean near Australia. So the circumstances,
he's half wackadoo. He's full wackadoo.
Right about the story, because we never found the plane. Plane has 4 emergency transponders that only go off during a crash. Somehow they can't be deactivated. Somehow none of them go off in this situation. The whole thing to me reeks of espionage, and this is why I've come to you, is because these videos, the reason why they don't want them out are multiple purposes. One, that Gorgon stare capability is integrated into all of our intelligence, and that's why you can't talk about it at all. It's not just
you got to add fresh bullshit to keep the morons
big network
occupied.
AI is looking around, mapping the whole planet, looking for differences all the time.
Right,
like we have much more capabilities than we want, so they can never talk about that. The other thing is, there's no way to spin this to claim that the aliens were doing it. The reason is because you've got an MQ-9 Reaper drone tracking this plane at super close distance. You can tell it's an operation just based on the proximity of the drone.
And here he's appealing to Greer's often given talking point that all the aliens are good guys. They wouldn't hurt anybody. They wouldn't abduct people. They wouldn't anally probe people. I'd love to get Stephen Greer in a room with Whitley Strieber, who claims that the aliens like butt banged him and like anally probed him. Because Greer says, no, that was the government does that. They pretend to be aliens and butt bang people to scare people. Yeah, I'd be scared of aliens too if I thought they kidnapped me and butt banged me. Them butt bangings is rough, Greer. But here, Ashton Forbes is appealing to Greer, who truly believes that all the aliens are good guys. And, they're just going to come down to earth and sit around a campfire and sing Kumbaya with us and give us technology and medicine and help us build a utopian world, right? Which is a very ignorant, look, if there are multiple species of aliens, I doubt they're all friendly. What about the ones that raped, pardon me, I shouldn't use that word on YouTube. What about the ones that essayed David Wilcock, Dr. Stephen Greer? Do you know David Wilcock got butt banged by not just reptilian aliens, but also gray aliens? He got butt banged by multiple alien species, and you're saying they're all good guys. Why would, yes, I agree, Chill Station. Yeah, that's the word to use, or essayed, right? Why would good guys be butt banging David Wilcock if they're all good guys? Why, I don't know, maybe good guys will grab you and butt bang you, but I don't think so. I think once they start butt banging you, that pretty much proves they're not good guys. But here, Ashton's like, yeah, it could have been aliens. Don't worry, Greer. Your talking point is safe with me. All the aliens are wonderful.
Onto the airplane, and the camera operator zooms out like this is not their first rodeo. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna get this thing perfectly centered to make sure we catch the zap here.
You mean the
and
CGI creator?
The plane falls out of view. You can tell it's somebody manually recording it.
Above top.
Now the last bit I'll tell you is this: is that now that I'm on
above
my run
top
here,
bullshit.
If you can get the government to release the MH370 files, because I promise you they have them. I've been FOIA and everything, and I'm just getting rejected left and right. Then all of disclosure will come apart at the seams. And I don't know what it leads back to, if it leads back to aliens or if it leads back to ancient civilization, but I guarantee
it leads
you
back to fake videos.
Because I found the guy that leaked the videos. His name is Lieutenant Commander Edward Lynn.
No, he didn't.
And after I started...
He's been harassing this Edward Lynn person for months, if not longer, claiming that he found the guy who leaked the videos. There's no evidence, no proof that this guy leaked those videos. They were uploaded to a hoax UFO channel, you moron, Ashton Forbes. Why don't you tell your audience the truth? Is it because your whole scam would come crashing down if you acknowledged that you got these fake as shit videos from a fake as shit UFO hoax channel? Could it possibly be that maybe, just maybe, you were fooled and you should have given up on this scam ages ago when it first became clear that these are CGI hoaxes? And no, Edward Lynn did not leak those videos. And in fact, he's calling Edward Lynn and threatening him. There's not threatening him, but like trying to get him to admit to leaking these videos. And what is this proof or evidence that Edward Lynn leaked these? Well, he got arrested for leaking other classified information totally unrelated to this case. So it must have been him. Like, these are the leaps that he takes. And you're accusing a man who just went through hell, got put in prison, and then finally got out. And now Ashton Forbes is accusing him of leaking more classified information. This guy and his family don't need that kind of hassle. Or you disparaging him, saying he leaked these fake as shit videos. Nobody leaked them because they're CGI creations, you retarded moron!
Now, is he an American? Wait, is he American?
Yes, he is an American. He's a naturalized American from Taiwan, became a naturalized American. He
is he going to tell Greer that Edward Lynn denies knowing anything about these videos, or is he going to just say, I found the guy who leaked them, and forget to say that Edward Lynn denies that he leaked them, or there's been no confirmation that he leaked them, and he doesn't want to talk to Ashton Forbes because he knows Ashton Forbes is a conspiracy whack job, nut job, wackadoo.
Talking to people that used to work in his unit, which was the VPU-2 Wizards, a very secretive Navy unit. They said that he was basically the golden boy, that he was being kind of pushed up for upper management. He had been a congressional liaison.
It's
he had
right above Clay
Animation,
secrets. Yeah.
And his case is one of the weirdest cases out there. I mean, I noticed once I
agree,
saw
Arlene.
his case, I knew he was the guy because the timeline matched perfectly.
See?
He started being investigated.
I knew he was the guy. Do you have any evidence he was the guy? Well, no, but I know he's the guy.
Right after the plane disappeared. I knew from that footage that it was probably they were going to find out who leaked that for sure, because it's not somebody with like a camera phone recording that. That was
right.
Somebody pulled that off a flash drive, off a skiff, and
so what was he charged with?
He was charged with espionage. They were going to put him away forever. It was the first incident of espionage by an active duty member of the Navy since the Cold War. So almost 40, 50 years.
And where is he being held?
Chesapeake is where I think they had him, but
where was the trial? Norfolk?
I'm not sure. I do know that he got abused during his.
This is all irrelevant because this man has nothing to do with those fake as hell CGI created hoaxes.
Pretrial detainment, and they wouldn't let him out of pretrial detainment because they were afraid of what he would say to the media, and they convinced him to take a plea deal. And it turns out there was no evidence of him actually sharing any information with anyone from China. They had to admit this later on after coming after him for espionage. And his family was in support, saying there was some kind of misunderstanding related to this. I think that he leaked those videos out of like not knowing what he was looking at and didn't realize how much damage he was doing to national security.
Well, she might not
and then they get him in a room
paid.
where they're interrogating him, trying to figure out, who his connections, why did he leak that footage. And they find out
basically runs cold.
I mean, if he saw that an event happened like that that resulted in the death of everyone on that plane, his mistake was not claiming whistleblower status and
Right.
doing it. So, but that can be corrected.
Yes, he
So
could
the
have had
question
2
is,
billion.
I'm getting very specific here.
Please.
So this is my wheelhouse. Number one, there's no FOIA officer on the planet that would be able to
Wow,
have
that's something
access
else,
to
Arlene.
those files. This is the mistake all UFO people make and UAP people make. It's a parallel universe. There's a secret government programs that are corporate, super secret government hybrid entity that's above the president. It's above
She
the
doesn't
Congress.
drink. I
It's
thought you said she
above
doesn't blink.
members
She just
of the
blinked.
senior folks.
Don't
at the
worry,
Pentagon,
friends.
I believe.
Raven's still alive.
You know, I mean, even guys who have rotated through as the director of the Defense Intelligence Agency have been blocked from this information. So the idea that some bureaucrat desk jockey who looks at FOIA requests is going to have that, even if he wanted to release it, in a million
listen to
years
this
he would
crap.
never have access. So you can save your ink.
Yeah.
Number two,
He's given Ashton an out for why he'll not find anything through the FOIA system. Not that the files don't exist, that they won't let them out.
the fact
It's
is
just conspiracy thinking on top of conspiracy thinking on top of conspiracy thinking.
this particular gentleman.
3 more to
this
get to
lieutenant,
halfway to the goal. If
colonel,
we get halfway,
what-
I'll do this
lieutenant?
whole
Lieutenant commander.
fucking video.
Commander,
tonight.
okay.
Let's go. Let's get some support,
Lynn,
friends.
he is. Did he actually ever state that he released that footage or no?
No, and he hasn't, and he had never.
So how do
returned
we
any
know?
phone
So how do we
calls.
know he?
Oh, good
How do
question.
we know he released it?
We
So,
don't.
I mean, depends on your level of evidence and proof that you want. But he changed his name legally 2 months after I started outing him on social media. Changed his name to Edward Soraya. The only way we found him actually was that we found him under his new name doing a promo video for his company.
Okay.
Which I'm not trying to ruin his life. I know he's the guy that leaked the videos. I just want him to respond. But he's showing his old photos from the Navy. And the weirdest part was this guy had been charged with espionage. What he leaked went to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. That's how serious it was. His lawyer said
that is
that
correct.
the evidence in question was available on
Thanks
the
for being
internet.
a member.
His lawyer said that publicly. It's recorded document. And his lawyer said that he was investigated. Investigation began April 2nd, 2014. This is less than a month after the plane disappeared. And that the footage that was available on the internet said received March 12th, 2014. That's 4 days after the plane disappeared. So the person that uploaded it, if they're telling the truth, they got leaked right away. Somebody saw it right away. They panicked. They released it. Edward Lynn changed his name. I had been trying to contact him, couldn't get in touch with him. Finally, someone found his lawyer, Larry D. Youngner, and they actually had a conversation with him where he said something about the feds bringing satellite video into the case. Now, this is secondhand, so I can't corroborate that. I reached out to Larry Youngner half a dozen times, maybe more. Wouldn't pick up the phone, never returned a phone call, eventually turned off his phone entirely, and it's been off ever since.
Yeah, because you
I found
harassed
Edward Lynn's recent phone number. Somebody else was able to get a connection with it. Actually was on a live stream, called him on the live stream where you can hear his voice on the voicemail. And what I told him was that I don't even necessarily want him to come out as a whistleblower.
The land of
I think that
grifters.
to
That's
counter
right.
your point, I think that what they're doing is technically legal. I mean, yes, I would say if the public were to know about it, we would all say it's absolutely illegal. I mean, there was 239 people on that plane. But I think it's being covered under the PEDS and under nuclear weapons classifications.
Lady
where
MPC.
normally we would say
Why is
that's
she still
these
here?
are illegal covert operations. But I think they
She
had
said
a
about
legal
4
reason. I think
words for
Admiral
the whole hour
Hines
here.
was actually like the CIA deputy director at the time and became DNI. She was the one who was doing the legal justifications for Obama to do drone strikes. She would have been the one probably writing the legal justification for this
Raven the
operation.
mannequin.
As well.
Yes.
And so this is the part. This is why Edward Lynn doesn't take whistleblower status. Because it's
she looks like
technically
she needs
legal
a
stuff
bump.
that he's
Yeah,
doing.
definitely
And
needs
now
a bump.
he's in their good
Stay
graces.
awake.
I mean, he's doing videos where he's talking about promoting stuff for the VA and for veterans. And you're like, if this was a spy.
So wait, this gentleman did or didn't go to prison?
He did. He got a 9-year sentence. So they took a plea deal and they dropped the espionage charges and they just give him like willful retention of classified data. Which, if you look at common chart sentencing for that, it's like a year.
Now
A year
Ashton
to
is a
3 years.
legal
Usually you get
expert.
probation. He
There's
got
no
9
training
years.
in the law.
9 years, and they give him 3. They cut off 3 for good behavior, and he had been in prison too. So he even tested. I'd look at his appeals. He even argued in his appeals
Tripping on
how
6
disproportionate
Benadryl.
his sentence
What?
was, and the military had people come in and testify as to what he did was so serious. But all the stuff that they released publicly about why he was a danger for national security was all just mundane emails. Like he never had really done anything wrong that they could actually point to, and they could never
Well,
show the video.
okay, we're going too much on the weeds on that because of the limit of time here.
Yeah,
I think the point
Shut
here
up,
I'm trying
Ashton!
to make is the underlying technology that had been used that exists is not known by members of Congress and the president and the oversight committees. Therefore, the underlying programs are unconstitutional and treasonous. I don't care how many bureaucrats and corporate shills and lawyers that are corporate shills say otherwise. If the president and the people
Greer is
who
now the
constitutionally must oversee such operations are not or actively blocked.
She does got
That's
a horse
what we
face.
can prove is happening.
Yeah.
Not only in the Senate and the House, but in the White House over many
Raven
administrations.
ENC is not responding
Because I'm the one who has conversations
barely
with those
blinking.
folks all the time. And so what at this point, if there's an
he's
underlying
talking about
criminal
shills.
Operation,
Raven had
that
some
is
Rick Simpson oil, says
unconstitutional
Amber
and
Gettin.
a
She does
priori
look like
treasonous.
Angelina.
Everything
a
else
bit
that
there.
flows from it is also illegal, and anything that is done in the furtherance of that under RICO statutes, racketeering, influence, corrupt organization, which is how we took on the mafia, all of those operations fall into it, and then the whistleblowers are protected. So even though it's called basically this is when you're doing
a couple more years he'll be doing defense commercials. I believe
a stovepipe. So you have a classified TSSCI stovepipe, but then they'll attach to it legitimate. And one of the ways they've kept the very illegal programs a sticky wicket is that
I told a horse
you
something
could
he
get
shouldn't have.
burned by exposing a legally overseen known operation by the
it would look like
senior
a camera's
gang of
freezing,
eight and the president, but attached and buried in
another
it
30-minute monologue
stovepipe within a stovepipe are the illegal criminal operations. This is a nuance that no one is looking at, and it imperils that in and of itself is another felony. If you are committing a treasonous and unconstitutional act on something related to UAPs and what have you, and use a legitimate top secret program to further that secrecy, that is.
The goal ends in 8 minutes, and we are 13 from the goal. It looks like our streak is coming to an end, my friends, but it was good while it lasted. So thank you all for the support. 13 in 8 minutes, never going to happen.
It's compounding it, and it is another felony. It's another criminal act. So that's how that all falls apart. And this gets to then
these are Greer's standard talking points. Illegal government projects, corruption.
Key people in this case, assuming
misuse of
they're
funds,
still living,
unconstitutional.
And you mentioned the woman who saw the plane on fire and things like that. They would have to be subpoenaed, and then they would have to testify under oath. If it's a U.S. citizen,
I love that episode that we did of them arguing. Yes,
agent, and they lie. That's a felony.
He's kept the super chats away.
The law enforcement,
he's too boring.
Would then have to say, all right, because they've already concluded. I can tell you this: senior law enforcement and certain members of Congress have already concluded that these, and certain key people in the administration have concluded these operations related to UAPs are in fact part of a massive RICO criminal organization. And at that point, everything can be rolled up in it. Now, obviously, there would be legitimate covert programs, drone programs, or telemetry, satellite monitoring, but to the extent that
Ashton Forbes looks totally defeated. I really thought that Dr. Greer would just agree with my scam. Why is he saying my scam's not good? Look at Ashton. He looks defeated. He looks beat up and defeated. It's one of those things, friends. Look at him. He's looking down, kind of scary. Amber Gettin with one for the goal. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. Hearing the call of the goal, even when it looks like it might not happen, we still believe.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Thank you very much, Amber Gettin, for your kindness and continued support. Much, much appreciated. And we have Grass Toucher with 10. Okay, you baited me. All right, I'm going to bait everybody else. Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support, including you channel memberships, including Mike Larry, who gifted 20 Truth Seekers memberships, and including you fine and generous Kick supporters, like Yeti or Not, who gifted 1 sub, and Ralph Family Treasure, who became a sub. Thank you all for the support, and thank you, Grass Toucher, who just got baited into giving me $10. I'll bait you 10 more times there, Grass Toucher. Thank you.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
Thank you very much, Grass Toucher, and all of you. And Maria CC says, praise the goal. Praise the goal. Thank you, Maria CC, for chiming in and hearing the call of the goal.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
4 minutes and 41 seconds left, and we are at 11 of 20. Unless we get 9 in 4 minutes, the goal streak ends. Oh no, Amber getting with another one. Greer mask. Yes.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, Amber Geddon, thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. But we're still, where we at? 4 minutes left, and we need 9. 9 more in 4 minutes. Oh no, the goal streak will end. I could start another goal for 9 or 10, and we'll just count it when we hit the 10, right? Maybe we'll do that. Oh, Michael Siebold is here with 1 for the goal. Hearing the call of the goal, 8
Praise
to
the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
to the wire, down to the wire. It is a nail biter. It is a nail biter. Will we hit it? Can we hit it, friends? Can we hit it? I don't know, but Katie Death Squad just chimed in. So when is collaboration between Stephen and David, since they are both gay? Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. They should be collaborating. Thank you, Katie Death Squad, and thanks for being a member, and thanks for the support.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
All right, and I'm checking it in. 3 minutes and 20 seconds, and we need 6 more to get there. One moment here. Amber Geddon says, praise the cash. Another one from Amber Geddon. Thank you for your kindness.
Praise the cash, praise the cash, praise the cash.
It's 3 minutes remaining, and we need 6 more. That means 2 every 30 seconds or something. Wow. Oh no. Oh no. We have momentum. Yes. Oh, why? Just extend the timer, says Frank Pirro. I will probably do that. Yes, I will. Oh, Sheila Radler is chiming in with 1 more.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Wait, and that means, 1 second. That means that we are, oh, wait a minute. Let me check back in here. Sheila Radler says, blarb. Thank you, Sheila Radler, and praise the cash. 5 to go in 2 minutes and 18 seconds. 5 more to go. The momentum is there. Will we hit it? Or will I have to extend it? I might have to extend it. Thank you, Sheila Radler, and thank all you last-minute people who chimed in here. Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. We've had Grass Toucher, Caney Death Squad, Amber Geddon, Sheila Radler. Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. It is much, much appreciated. Arlene, oh, the pressure, folks. No pressure, folks. Yeah, there is pressure. 1 minute and 39 seconds. I'm just going to kill the goal. And then I will extend it and ask for another 5. Oh, 4 to go. Michael Siebold with another one. Thank you, Michael Siebold.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
We're going to get it. We're going to get it. 3 more in, let's see, 1 minute and 16 seconds. 3 more. Oh, I think we might do it. We might do it. Charlie Troll with 1 for the goal. Donate, dagnammit. Yes.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Racing through here to get them all. Katie Death Squad, Wilcock, Dr. Greer is going to debrief me. I'm very excited.
Praise the cash, praise the cash.
Right, and we are at, let me see, 2 to go with 45 seconds remaining. 2 to go with 45 seconds remaining. Thank you all for the last minute rally. Amber Geddon, There's one to go. Who will do the goal hitting super chat? Ambergeddon almost there with 19.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
Much. And Echo Bats. I think Echo Bats got us over the hump. 20. Man, this is amazing. Amazing. Thank you, Echo Bats. And I'm sorry for racing through these. We just hit it with 12 seconds left. There was 12 seconds left in the goal when Echo Bats got it. Ashton Forbes is a ridiculous fool. I think Greer is disgusted by him already. He's not ready for pro grifting yet. Yeah. And I see Alien Science is here. The whole thing makes me want to throw up. Jeremy, I have to talk to you off air about something important. So maybe I can call you or you can call me. Text me. You know my phone number, or DM me a cell phone number I could reach you at, because I'm always going through cell phones. I think because I'm always working outside the charging port. I've been through 3 phones in the past less than 3 years. The charging port always goes on these things. But this time I don't have my phone with me. I have a phone case now that has a protector for the charging port. It was that or the self-charger or the wireless charging ones, but I've heard bad things about them. So in any case, I have trouble with my contacts because I never update them, and I just get a new phone and hope the people I need to contact will just text me again. Remember, I'm visually impaired. I hate the phones. Yes, we slid into the goal at the last minute, but not only did we hit the goal, but there was an extra $100 from gifted memberships tonight and an extra $10 from Kick support tonight. So we far exceeded the goal. And boy, let's continue. We've got 32 minutes more to go. And then I'll put on the Stephen Greer mask and I'll take any questions as Dr. Stephen Greer from the audience.
Those are being used, and you'd have to you then have to redact certain things, but say
UFO octagon money machine,
like these, plasmas or plasmoids to create. We have a whistleblower who has said it was an Einstein-Rosen bridge that gets created by that system.
You know the amount of energy that would be required to create an Einstein-Rosen bridge? I'm not a physicist or a mathematician. Alien Scientist is in the audience. The amount of energy required to create an Einstein-Rosen bridge would be, I think, something like the energy of multiple suns, right? Of all their energy for their entire lifetime or something crazy like that. So when these grifters throw around terms like, well, we just create an Einstein-Rosen bridge, come on, right? Like the amount of energy required to do that is enormous. And we can't harness that amount of energy. No way, no how. So while Einstein-Rosen bridge is theoretically possible, as is creating artificial gravity, or not gravity, but wormholes, you know, they kind of like, they talk in this pseudoscience jargon and they sound convincing, but when you know the actual science behind, you know, like here, we'll just Google. I don't know. I haven't Googled this. Right? I'm just going to ask Google, and we'll try AI mode as well. How much energy would it take to create an Einstein-Rosen bridge? How much energy would it take to create that? To create and sustain a transversible Einstein-Rosen bridge wormhole, that's what the scientific term for it is, Einstein-Rosen bridge, commonly called a wormhole, would require an amount of energy far beyond the capabilities of current human technology, involving both immense conventional energy and the use of theoretical substance with negative energy. Colossal energy for space-time manipulation. Creating a wormhole involves severely warping the fabric of space-time. The amount of energy needed is theorized to be at least equivalent of a planet's or even a star's mass compressed into an impossibly small region. So in other words, it's not entirely impossible, but it's very improbable. But here Greer just talks about Oh yeah, I have a whistleblower who say they just create Einstein-Rosen bridges. In other words, they just create wormholes. Well, you need the amount of energy in an entire sun compressed into a tiny area to do that. How are you doing that? We can't do that. Alien Science says, I'm still waiting for these people to demonstrate anything they talk about experimentally. Well, that's the problem. And it's ignorant comments like Jeremy's a real physicist and it must irk him. Like, I'm not a physicist, I'm not a scientist, but I'm not retarded, Jeremy. So I know that when these people say shit like, well, I have a whistleblower who says they just create wormholes. Well, yeah, they're okay, but there's one problem with that. The amount of energy required is so ridiculous. There's no way humans can harness that much energy. Where are you getting the energy of an entire sun, an entire star? And how are you compressing it down to like a pinhole size or whatever you require to do this? It's just ridiculous that they say this shit, not realizing how entirely ignorant and, stupid it makes them look. That's an ignorant statement to make. Oh, well, my whistleblower said they just create wormholes. One problem with that, you can't, because the amount of energy required is ridiculous and we can't harness that much. No way, no how. Full stop.
Where it just looks like it vanishes. And, if in fact that plane on fire vanished and quote unquote teleported over to off the coast of Africa, that's totally doable. People don't realize.
And by the way, that's another problem for Ashton. Hey, Ashton, you said that they teleported or pushed that plane into a wormhole. Do you know how much energy is required to create an artificial wormhole that is stable? At least the amount of energy in an entire sun for its entire lifetime. So one big problem with your stupid fake conspiracy theory too. Any real scientist would tell Ashton Forbes that basically you're a lunatic.
Ability does.
And some real scientists, including this Professor Dave, did say that all of his pseudoscience. And by the way, when I see alien scientists is in our audience, right up there with do space beamer nonsense, you're right. A lot of the fake science that Ashton Forbes has and talks about, he stole from the APEC conferences that Jeremy Rise, alien scientist, runs with real scientists. They talk about theoretical things like wormholes and artificially created anti-gravity or, super advanced plasma-based propulsion. Jeremy and his science group talk about things that make my brain hurt. Like, I just don't think I'm smart enough. It gives me a headache sometimes. Like, I can, if they keep it dumbed down for mortals, I can kind of understand what they talk about. But all Ashton did was watch a lot of Jeremy Rise videos on the science of the exotic sciences, plasma technology, artificial wormholes, bending space-time, and that sort of thing. But he basically bastardized some of the information that Jeremy has put out that is really scientifically valid, and he's twisted it to fit his stupid conspiracies. That's basically what he's done.
Exists and has existed for.
And by the way, Ashton Forbes' grifting partner was at a lot of those conferences that Jeremy ran. So his grifting partner in the free energy scam went to Jeremy Rice's channel, soaked up all the science that he could, but then he gets it wrong too, and then claimed that blue chicken aliens, I think, taught him these advanced physics. No, Jeremy Rice, alien scientist, and his friends taught you that advanced physics that you get wrong, you loser, you bum.
For some time.
Yeah, it just won a Nobel Prize. I mean, macroscopic quantum tunneling, 2025. I'm on Tim Pool like 6 months ago saying that's what they did to the plane. There's a difference between the conceptual understanding of it, which is a wormhole,
right,
which is a geometric shape, versus the actual physical mechanism that allows.
Well, that makes sense.
Which is manipulating the 0 point energy. Like the 0 point energy is the distance between here and there, because the 0 point energy is space time itself. So if in quantum tunneling you reduce the barrier, reducing the barrier is reducing the 0 point energy. And that's why I think
somebody's watched a little bit too much Star Trek Voyager.
Like how you got in touch with him, because he's the guy I think is working with the CIA.
I always laugh about that with Star Trek technology. Like they come up with some cool stuff like transwarp, The Borg, they don't use regular warp technology. They use trans warp technology so they can go further in space faster. And then enhanced warp drive. A lot of that came from Star Trek Voyager. So I think these guys watch too much science fiction.
To determine when these weapons are deployed that goes above the president, according to the presidential executive emergency action documents. And so
he's been an operative of this group for decades. Yeah. Totally. Yeah.
And he knows about this. He actually responded to a couple of my emails, but he's playing coy, of course, with it. But he's the one that has this polarizable vacuum model where he's basically saying that if you want to manipulate the 0 point energy, use electromagnetism. Well, nothing has more condensed electromagnetism than a thermonuclear weapon, specifically an A neutron.
Ashton does like a worm in his hole.
Conversion to electricity. So that's what I think they're using to do this. But the problem I think you're going to have is that
people have to understand what he's talking about is not like we think of it.
Yes, buy me a beer or a coffee. I'll call it out on air. We haven't gotten one in a while.
Make a distinction when people hear what you said. Yeah,
because
people understand. You need to define that a little because people are thinking boom.
Yeah, and this is the thing. This is what people have to wrap their brain around. With nuclear weapons in 1945.
I love how Greer is critiquing his grifting style. Like, you need to do better with your grift here. Let me help you figure out how to grift better, Ashton.
Are not the same as nuclear weapons of 2014 or 2025. One of the first things they were trying to do is get rid of the heat, get rid of the radiation, and just have it be pure energy conversion. This is aneutronic fusion, meaning no neutrons are being released. So instead, you get pure electricity, pure energy. And I think that's what they're using on that plane. But then this brings a big problem up because now, like you said, they could be rolling this up into classifications that are perfectly legal from thermonuclear weapon. Or
he definitely used anal beads.
That's what they do.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what they
do.
We
know that's what they do. We absolutely know that's what they do. So and that's how they burn. By the way,
he pulls them out. He pulls one out every time Greer agrees with his scam.
Close. I know a couple of key investigators. One, a very senior one for Senate Intelligence.
Here's another bluff.
Got too close, but what was wrapped around the illegal program were some things that were legal. That he
I don't scam my audience.
And so then
I'm gonna wear the mask. Don't worry.
It's a honeypot. It's a sting. But that in of itself,
I gotta find some glasses.
To use a legitimate classified project as a sting for hiding a criminal operation, that is an even more serious crime. So this is where the whistleblowers and investigators like yourself need to understand this because, you cannot, and I've said this since the 90s, the foundation of the whole disclosure movement is that we were able to prove by me having meetings with very senior people who, if the programs were being run legally, would know. And they had,
this is all fiction.
Absolutely were not read in. And this is Bill Clinton. This is the CIA.
He can't prove he ever met with any president. He can't prove he ever met with any senator, except for Harry Reid, I think. Right. And he was in one meeting with a high-ranking government official, but he only got there because Edgar Mitchell was the point man on that. But other than that, all of his stories are exaggerated, embellished, and he doesn't name names. You'll notice he's like, I met with a high-ranking intelligence official. What's their name? Because when he does name names, they call him out on his bullshit. Greer is just the worst, man. Just total disinformation, misinformation, nothing real.
Director. This is General Patrick Hughes, who is head of the Defense Intelligence Agency. This is Admiral Tom Wilson, head of J2, head of intelligence for the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
Tom Wilson is who he had a meeting with.
Chairman of the House Oversight Committee in the 90s.
And Tom Wilson said that the Wilson Davis notes are a work of fiction. And he only took the meeting with Greer because Edgar Mitchell is an American hero astronaut, and he didn't want to say no to Edgar Mitchell. So, again, he's never briefed anybody. He's never had meetings with high-ranking officials. He's never been in a government skiff. In one of his movies, he said that he was routinely going into the basement of the Pentagon, going in top secret meetings. Well, there'd be some proof if you actually did that. You didn't. You are a scumbag and a grifter and a lying scumbag at that.
And he's Dan Burton, who was trying to find out about this and was blown off and threatened. And on and on and on. So this is not crap I've drug off the internet by Googling things. This is 30 some years of direct meetings with people that if these programs were legal, they would have been read on to them and known about it. And this is the foundation of people coming forward.
Same old Greer talking points. Oh, I had all these meetings with high-ranking officials. Trust me, bro. Well, why aren't you in any of the presidential libraries if you briefed every president? The only thing he's ever done is send a letter to the White House. Any moron, including me, can send a letter to the White House. It doesn't mean I briefed the president. He shouldn't be allowed to say that. It's a form of consumer fraud.
And being able to avail themselves of whistleblower protection. So one thing I want to say is anyone who knows about this case, we do have a law enforcement team that can
There is no proof.
Protection, surveillance, as well as whistleblower protection.
Yeah, I didn't just get my crap off the internet like you, Ashton.
Involving RICO that are ongoing and that this gets rolled up into. And if there are people like that, they don't need to be out there on a limb.
A lot of morons
They need to come in and be part of that network. And I'm a direct liaison to that task force. So
yeah,
I think
I want to just add there that if anybody does have info about this, I suggest you go to Dr. Greer. His people can get in touch with me if you want to. I'm not very easy to get in touch with directly, and he has the resources to vet and make sure, because I know for a fact there's thousands of people who know that's wide area motion imagery, and they know that's Gorgon stare. And and the thing is, like, this is the part about disclosure. It's tough. Like, what I've learned is Congress has no idea. You're right. They have no clue whatsoever. And I'm not even sure they should know, just my personal opinion, because when we're talking about these thermonuclear weapon secrets, like, they're going to get out. I think
he does never
the part where
shut up.
I kind of diverge a little with you, and not saying I disagree, because I agree with you on a lot, is that I don't think you can disclose part of it without disclosing all of it. Like, once you realize that we can create these plasmoids that are these stabilized plasma shapes and forms that can create these weapons, they are also an unlimited energy source forever. It's the perfect fusion, essentially. But so the problem is now, once you want one piece of it, you get all of it to come out. And I think this is where they struggle. And then to what you said about...
Oh, it is. No, this is why we've said for years. I mean, if you look at the things in our archive that I wrote to President Clinton after I briefed his CIA director.
He sent a letter to the White House.
Certain aspects of
and the CIA director said he was never briefed by you. He sat next to you at a social event and you talked his ears off about aliens. You didn't brief him, you fucking lying scumbag. Stop saying that lie. There's a letter from the person he just claimed that he briefed, Woolsey, the CIA director, that corrects him and says, you, sir, didn't give me a briefing, not an official one, not one I asked for. You sat near me and my wife at a social function. So it was a setup so that Greer could brag to his moron, retard cult members that he's somebody important that the government respects and get asked for briefings. The craft are here to stay. Greer is insufferable. Same lies over and over again. He goes to like the Nazi school of lying. If you say a lie long enough and loud enough, it must be true.
Or ways to configure what you're talking about into energy systems that would ameliorate the biosphere problems and in poverty. And there are ways those can be applied that are clearly a weapon system. Those applications have to be completely kept secret and regulated and what have you. But, look, everyone knows we have thermonuclear bombs, so you can't go to Ace Hardware and buy one. You can have a tanker filled with, fuel, gasoline, and run it into a stadium and blow up a couple thousand people. Look, at a certain point, and this gets into a larger question. We're stuck. I did a movie a couple years ago called The Lost Century. You may have seen it.
My favorite.
And we're basically stuck. We're stuck in the late 1800s, maybe, if you count power plants, nuclear power plants, the mid 1940s, 50s.
Yeah, that's the movie that he collected $500,000 to make, and it looks like shit. There's no way he spent $500,000 on that movie. I call bullshit on that as well.
Fission.
He collected $500,000, and then he sold the movie for profit, even to the morons that funded him to the tune of $500,000. He's a great grifter, Stephen Greer.
Clear power, which is basically a big steam engine, heating
he's
water.
Lying again. He's lying because his lips are moving.
Realize a modern nuclear power plant is a big steam engine, like the choo-choo trains of the 1800s going across the West. I mean, people are not very literate about science, to be honest with you. But that means that our civilization is going to have to, at some point, evolve socially and politically to where at least the first tier of these technologies come out. And the other
I agree,
problem
Arlene.
with the
Energy will never
extreme
be
secrecy
free.
on this, the skullduggery and misuse of those technologies, like if this is actually what happened to those innocent people, that's what we're talking about. But I have worse cases. I have a case where 250,000 people were killed
Oh, come on.
by the deployment of a type of directed energy weapon over in the fault line off of Indonesia.
Uh-oh. Is Greer talking about Jewish space lasers? A directed energy weapon killed 250,000 people. Well, why wasn't that on the news? Why can't I find any proof that 250,000 people were obliterated by a directed energy weapon? Could it be because this is total horseshit, Stephen Greer? What? How do you make claims like that and not provide any evidence? Too bad. Alien scientist says, yeah, sorry, guys, I am done with it all. Wasted 20 years of my life trying to move humanity forward, and now I just need to worry about myself and my kid because there's no money in UFOs. Not if you do it honestly. If you want to just lie on YouTube like this clown, 250,000 people got killed by Jewish space lasers. A directed energy. Well, he didn't say Jewish space lasers, but I think that's what a lot of people mean when they say directed energy weapons killing people on Earth or controlling people on Earth. They mean the Jewish space lasers, right? It's a David Icke thing, I think. And the fact that he just said that with a straight face, I know of a case where 250,000 people got killed in Indonesia by directed energy weapons. You want to provide some proof of that? Or is this just another in a long list of hundreds of your fake bullshit, trust me, bro stories?
It calls that massive tsunami and earthquake that killed 250,000 people, and that I have.
Yeah, if they had that tech, there would be no Qatar.
Contract vessel that went down there and detonated that thing. But it's not an explosion; it's a directed energy type of system, like a directional EMP scalar system.
That's true.
They're also being
That's
used
true, Arlene. They
down
want the
ET
fantasy.
craft. I've been at 2 black sites recently where we have whistleblowers who are at those sites where these systems are used to down non-human vehicles, and inadvertently, which ties into the MH370, down private civilian aircraft that happen to get in the way. And they'll just take them, they crash, they incinerate them to powder and get rid of the body.
Yeah, that's not directed energy weapon. That's a tsunami.
The remains of whether it's a Cessna or whatever it is. Now, these sorts of atrocities are ongoing. And the man-made UFOs that are made by Lockheed Northrop and my uncle's old company, Northrop Grumman, and Raytheon.
No proof his uncle ever worked for those companies. He also claimed that his uncle worked on the NASA moon landers. No proof of that. I checked with a NASA space historian. And I checked under both his mother's maiden name and his, the name Greer. Nobody under his mother's maiden name or his father's name, Greer, ever worked on the NASA moon landers like he has claimed. He is a top tier bullshitter.
And a few other, Boeing and Skunk Works, by the way, are the same entity on this engineering. A lot of people don't know that they are.
Thank you, Blackfish. I'm going to leave that up. Encourage more of this. We need more of this.
Criminal activity going on.
More beer money.
And then the worst is that we are not alone in the cosmos, and we have a bunch of people with these.
Anyway, Blackfish chiming in with $10 saying beer money. Yes, that's extra over and above the goal. So anything over and above the goal, yeah, that should be beer money. Thank you, Blackfish, for your kindness, generosity, and support. I keep forgetting to do it, but this weekend I definitely am going to do it. Does anybody ever see those Heineken keg cans that make draft beer for you? You get like 15 or 12 or 15 beers out of one of those big keg cans. I'm going to do one of them this weekend, Blackfish, and I will put your $10 directly towards that. And I will raise my glass to you when I do that. So thank you, Blackfish.
Raise the cash, raise the cash, raise the cash.
All right, let's get back to the cavalcade of bullshittery. We've got 22 minutes more to go, 23 minutes more to go, 24 minutes to go.
They're a hammer in the whole universe.
Thank you, Blackfish. Praise the cash.
And so what's happened is that you have an out-of-control group, not supervised and known by the people or their representatives. And so at a certain point, if you're going to endorse that, then you're endorsing a totalitarian covert state. that
Plan D's
trumps
getting
democracy
paged
and
by his
trumps
wife. You
any
better go
the
see what
interests
she
of the
wants.
people. But then who's watching the hen house?
Yeah.
Right?
No,
I mean, the foxes are in the hen house. So these guys who are doing this, to be honest with you, are committing all
More dark
manner
chocolate.
of dangerous scenarios and abusing those technologies. So while at the one hand, yes, any technology can be turned into. I mean, I'm a trauma doctor, so I've seen a knife used. You can put butter on your bread or slit someone's throat. I've seen both. No problemo. Easy. But so the question
What?
becomes,
You can put butter on your bread or slash a
who is going
throat.
to be
What?
the guardians of that? Who makes these decisions? And is it relegated to a group of, quite frankly, totalitarian fascists who want to run the world into the ground and control
Lord
things as masters
Ludicrous,
of the universe,
thank you for
motu,
being
as we call them,
ludicrous. And praise
without
the
any
cash,
regard for the human
bitches. This is
future?
quite the
Because
panel.
they
Here,
got on
Stephen, he
this
says.
Praise the
path
cash, praise the cash, praise the
without
cash.
thinking, how do you get out
Thank
of it?
you.
So
Long-time show
they've
supporter,
gone
Lord
so far down this
Ludicrous.
path. What we're trying to do, quite frankly, and this is why I have a lot of support from people inside these covert programs, is
Greer's
to
a chicken
give
man.
an a exit path, a pathway out. But it's going to have to be done reasonably. And I 100% agree with you. These technologies that are a short path to weaponization and offensive uses can't be allowed to go out there. On the other hand, the whole subject matter, if it remains out of public view and oversight, these extraordinary abuses, a short list that I've just given you is
Extraordinary
very
abuses
short.
that he can't
We're
prove.
talking kidnapping, embezzlement
He
of
can't
trillions of
prove any of
dollars,
this.
the downing of civilian aircraft,
He can't prove
the
that.
trafficking in humans,
He can't
the
prove
trafficking
that.
in drugs and
He
weapons,
can't prove that.
the complete subversion of the law.
He has no proof of
How
that.
far do you let an organization go off the rails before something happens to bring them back? Now,
Yeah.
are there
This is just
reasonable
Greer's
national
attempt to
security
paint the
secrets
UFO
that
disclosure
have to be
gatekeepers
maintained?
as
Yes.
criminals.
But at the same time,
They're the
you
bad
can't let an
guys in
unchecked
his
power.
fantasy
This is what
stories.
Eisenhower warned about. Beware of the military-industrial complex.
JFK
And he
too.
said it because
Nobody
he had
ever
already been
witnessed
burned.
him being a
I know for
doctor.
a
That's
fact he had
correct.
been burned.
So let me add a few more pieces of details on there, because I know that Rubio knows about the videos, because I saw a private
Babbling
email that had a bunch
nonsense
of
of
military
zero
intelligence
importance.
people on it, and he was on it. And they're talking about ball lightning and cold
Yeah.
explosions from
The
Tom
ZZ
Bearden,
top
which is what we're
secret
talking
mission.
about in those
Yes.
videos. And
Right.
so I think that we're never going to probably get disclosure from the government, because, like you said, it's all tangled up together. Even Lockheed's tangled this. The defense contractors are. They've been giving preferential treatment to their buddies and the people that are in the know and all this stuff. What I want to point out is the sigma categorizations from nuclear weapons. Sigma number 1 is hydrodynamics, as in magnetohydrodynamics, which is control of plasma with magnetic fields. And
He's
then
trying
number
to
11,
baffle
sigma
Greer
11
with
is inertial
bullshit.
confinement fusion, which is one of the main methods of producing fusion. The NIF is what, National Ignition Foundation. So the problem is, this stuff is all tangled together. It's all tangled up together. And if it were to get exposed, lots of people have criminal. I mean, like you said, you listed some of the crimes that are out there. And we're talking, we don't know what happened to those people. That could be kidnapping, that could be murder that happened to those people on that plane. And that's just one example. What I would suggest for you might want to follow up on is Charles Chase of Lockheed Martin. He was the leader of the Revolutionary Technologies Division of Lockheed Martin Skunk Works. He responded to me, and he worked with Ben Rich.
It's
know
like
all about
watching
Ben Rich.
two mental patients.
That was like they were working together
right?
on the F-117 Nighthawk, where they almost certainly incorporated some of these electrogravitic effects into it. He's the one that convinced the CXOs of Lockheed Martin to work on this compact fusion reactor. And it went dark in 2018, but his resume...
Are you one of the people that has been messaging me to call you? People do that to me a lot, and they don't tell me what they want to talk about. If you tell me what you need to talk to me about, maybe I would, but I'm not just calling random people that give me their phone number and say, I need to talk to you, Stephen, because quite often that leads into a schizophrenic rabbit hole, and I don't know who some of these people are contacting me. He always talks about being a trauma doctor, but I haven't heard one person come online and say, yeah, Dr. Greer saved my life. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of controversy about, I believe he did go to medical school. I verified that much.
Where he moved on to Unlab says that project was successful.
And somebody sent me a bunch of history and information on his medical career, but I haven't had time to process it all. Maybe we'll do a separate episode on that and see if we can't, verify or fact check some of those claims.
And that it's breathing on its own. So and he brags about being the one to convince them to work on that.
Yeah,
and if
Ed
you watch
Rich
their
always
promotional videos, it talks
misquoted.
about
Yep.
unlimited range, no fuel on board for this fusion reactor, and using it as propulsion flying around, which is
Sure.
I think exactly what we're seeing in those videos.
Yeah,
Couple
he
last
figured out
things on science
UFO
that I just
grifting
wanna-
is much more.
Because I
And by the
respect
way,
profitable.
but just so people, you keep using the word nuclear, 100% of everyone listening is thinking radioactive material and ionizing radiation. Just to be clear, that's not what Ashton's talking about. But
no, aneutronic. Everyone needs to get that into their lexicon. Aneutronic fusion, because I've learned
but
that
nobody
how do we
knows what
harness-
that is either. Nobody knows what that is.
Think direct energy conversion. What we imagine
Exactly,
like nuclear
yeah.
energy being, that's
Yeah.
what aneutronic fusion is. Like we're actually putting the atoms together, and then we're getting out of this pure electricity, not turning it into heat and then boiling some water and then spinning in the turbine.
Right.
That's why aneutronic is so big.
Well,
So
we know he
Helion
got
Fusion
fired for being
and
incompetent.
Tri-Alpha Energy, I think, are the only two fusion companies currently working on it. Both got funded by the DOE. They have Mithril
West
Capital,
Virginia,
Peter Thiel
thanks,
connected with them.
Garaji.
So
yeah, so he
if
did
you
go to
want- I'm
medical
not,
school.
it's not
at
stock
least.
advice, but I'm just saying, take a look at those companies. But I want to help out with a little bit of the science and physics, because I hear you explain the physics, the concepts of what they have. They have, we're talking replicators. We're talking, at least in the future,
Replicators.
teleportation being
come
possible.
on. Somebody's been
The
watching
teleportation
Star
is possible
Trek
because
too much.
ER equals EPR, which is Einstein-Rosen wormhole is equivalent to Einstein-Podolsky-Rosen quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is just a tiny version of a wormhole scaled up, and we know quantum entanglement's real.
Yeah, one thing people forget, if you look, I know it's very politically incorrect to read, but if you do read, those of you listening, the original Disclosure book and then the book Unacknowledged that went with that film in 2017, there is a whistleblower who was in the Air Force at a base in Canada in 1953, 72 years ago, where they had an electronic system that could, quote, teleport objects, not particles, from one side of the base to the other. And it's sort of funny because what they were doing back then,
another bullshit story, another Trust Me Bro story. How many Trust Me Bro stories are going to tell in one show?
Reappearing at another. This is 72 years ago. The other thing I remind people is the week that Ben Rich, who had been president of the Lockheed Skunk Works, died. My friend, who was aerospace Jim, said, "Look,
another anonymous
source. He was only a few days to live." And Ben Rich said, "Look, anything you can imagine that you've seen at Star Trek or something like that, we've already done at the Lockheed Skunk Works. It's not at Area 51. It's out in the desert. I've been out there.
Just spitting out words he doesn't even know the meaning of to sound smart. Ashton is a clown.
But what I think people need to understand is that he said that 30 years ago in 1995. And the technology curve just keeps going up, right? So one thing to remember, and this is where this is actually very dangerous, if you have an unchecked, powerful entity that has access to that kind of technology that are not necessarily
more
guided
claims
by
of
the
illegal
best interests
programs
of the world and the people.
He's never proven any of
this
this.
is where we could get in a very
never
big
will.
problem, not only with what they are
his
doing,
attempt to paint
but
the
with what they are
disclosure
doing
gatekeepers
against
as the bad
non-human
guys.
civilizations that are less than amused by this technology curve that's now being deployed against them. This is what no one's thinking.
The aliens are
So
pissed
you have
off
to
at us.
click this up to a higher level of analysis to realize what the threat matrix is by having a group like this go on unchecked and having all access to technologies without any supervision from the people, the media, the government leaders, and what have you. And this is not to say that as I receive information, if there's anything that is a operating schematic, I redact it because I know that a lot of this technology can't be set loose on the planet.
Or he
you could have a
redacts it
terrorist in
because he knows the
Mogadishu
documents
deliver
are fake.
a fierce weapon over Washington, D.C. in 2 or 3 seconds.
He's been caught.
Not minutes.
Been
because if you're dealing, so if you're collapsing space-time that
he
way,
claims are real
this
for
is
a
not
long
something
time.
you want out to just every Tom, Dick, and Harry. On the other hand, there's a whole constellation of technologies that could come forward that would be very beneficial to humanity. But I think most importantly, and this is why, I gave up my medical career to invite whistleblowers to come forward that we keep putting out there to build it up. But I don't have any legal authority whatsoever. I don't run the FBI or DOJ or White House or Congress, nor do I want to be honest with you.
Oh man, what a bunch of
I've
word
never had
salad
an aspiration to be
nonsense.
involved with
Like,
government whatsoever.
this, every time I watch Greer, I'm like, does he really only have like 5 talking points that he uses over and over again? All these important people I briefed within the government, all my anonymous sources and high-ranking government officials feeding me information that I can't name. And when he does name one, it's because they're dead and they can't impeach his fake testimony. You know, he's very good at putting together this bullshit, this basic, complete and total horse shit that's evidence-free, trust me, bro stories. You know? Wow. One moment here. I have a great song about Ashton that I can play during the break. Let me see if I can't get that together, though. We're going to have to take a break so I can find this Greer mask. And let's check in here. 12 more minutes, something like that.
Into it. But at the same time, we have a responsibility to guide and advise.
Same talking points.
Where an external
illegal
organization
brands, gatekeepers of disclosure,
perspective, and it is being listened to by senior folks at the agency.
He's practically senile.
What I would say, you know, this gentleman who went to prison and then changed his name, that information, get the full information to me. If there are other whistleblowers out there that know of that event where 200 plus souls vanished, then that is something that needs to be looked at. And if there was a U.S. corporate or governmental involvement,
Forbes is so happy.
Needs to be gotten.
Greer's going to take my information and investigate it.
Yeah,
because he's such a great investigator, Ashton. You fucking moron.
The action itself cannot.
He doesn't investigate any of his fake whistleblowers. You think he's going to investigate your Google
then they can do
right-click research garbage?
And that's what I would say is that I just want the action to not go unchecked. And I am happy to consult and advise any government officials that want to know my opinion, because I agree. I think that we have to be able to admit what we did. I mean, to that point, because I think that those families, they deserve justice. They deserve to know what happened. But at the same time, we need to protect national security. I'm a red, white, and blue blooded American. I love my country. I want to be safe. Trump talks about us having these weapons nobody understands, right? So I understand that, and this is why I push people for neutronic fusion, because to me, that's the avenue of getting what we need, which is unlimited green energy for the world to change everything. And it's still going to be disruptive. But we can avoid giving people thermonuclear weapons that would blow the whole planet up in an instant, right? We don't want our adversaries to have that. So last thought on this is that people wonder, how do you do this? The 0 point energy. The 0 point energy is a wave. If you squeeze that wave together, it's going to become amplified like this. And the portion that's above 0 is the positive energy. The portion below 0 is the negative energy. The negative energy is what we need for warp drives and wormholes. It's just a conceptual misunderstanding when it comes to PhD physicists not understanding this idea of negative energy. It's simply a matter of squeezing your 0 point energy waves and causing them to amplify and then isolating that. And this is what Hal Puthoff and Eric Davis say in all their papers. People need to read
Eric Davis
the Defense Intelligence Reference documents, the 38 papers that Hal Puthoff was bragging to Joe Rogan about.
Yeah, the Air Force said that was crackpot research, and they canceled the funding. Ashton Forbes, you moron! Did you know that? There's pictures of there is actually pictures of like Einstein waving to Barney the dinosaur through a wormhole. That's what you're referencing here. That's what you are referencing as this great and accurate information, right? How in the world, right? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like how are you citing these sources not knowing they're completely debunked as garbage sources, right? I don't know why, but I can't load this into this brand. Let's change brands for a moment here. While I for some reason I can't load the song I want into one moment here. All right, pardon the gross background. I'm going to try to load the song that I want here into the bumper system. Oh, now it will. The other brands are too filled up. You can only have 100 bumpers in each brand, which is kind of stupid. Like, here's all this space, but we can't let you use it in an organized fashion. And I apologize for that. Let's continue with this for a little while longer. Then we're going to do the Greer mask for the goal.
Everything is in there, including there's two ways to manipulate space-time. One is you could use these aneutronic fusion bombs, which is going to produce this huge amount of energy, and it's going to bend space-time because of E equals mc squared. You have this huge amount of mass energy. But the other way is super powerful lasers. So attosecond lasers, those just won the Nobel Prize in like 2023. The shorter your burst of energy is in time, the more condensed it is. And then this is something I haven't said to anybody. I was actually kind of uncomfortable about it, but there's another way to amplify those lasers, which is using a relativistic.
I can't believe I have to say this, but we don't really encourage or allow people to be making racist statements in our live chat. So if you have something against Black people or Jews or Puerto Ricans, or, you know, go in your own live chat and tell people that shit. Don't come in my live chat and tell people that. We have very simple rules here, and that is, don't say anything racist or anti-Semitic, or, you know, everybody's got to be welcome here. I'm sure some of my users are Jewish, and they probably wouldn't appreciate somebody coming in the live chat talking about organized evil Jewry. You know, come on, man. Like, if you have those views, good for you, but you're not going to share hateful, nasty views about Black people or Jewish people or any kind of people in my live chat. We don't accept that. And we have very simple rules here. Like, most of you are very nice, and I never have to say this, but every once in a while, somebody comes in and is like, I'm just going to keep dropping racist comments until somebody stops me. Okay.
Plasma mirror. So the plasma itself can actually act as a mirror so that the laser beams bounce off inside of it. And if it's vibrating, which vibration is the secret to all of this, then you get these non-relativistic effects because it's vibrating so fast. This is like the dynamic Casimir effect, which takes the Casimir effect you know about, and all
and
they
I
do
apologize
is they vibrate
to any members of the live chat.
By vibrating the walls, it can amplify the effect because of this motion, relative motion, just like with a Doppler effect when you're moving in and out like that. They can do the same thing with plasma itself.
Yes, we're nice here,
plasma
Patty.
perfectly
We want everybody to feel welcome.
So they really can produce these plasma balls that are self-sustaining, that amplify laser effects, and that can then manipulate space-time and use it like riding a wave.
Right. Yeah, and so this is where you know, stepping up way out there is, you know, our planet and our species cannot continue living like we are on the planet. But if we live,
I'm glad to hear that, Larry Love. That's the way we like it. We like everybody to feel welcome.
Always at each other's throat over every
so we generally don't let anybody,
or this little piece of land here and there.
Shit in our live
we
chat.
can't go forward either, and this is why you know, the foundational problem is that
is Greer running out of talking points yet? 11 minutes left,
and we're running out of time.
Yeah, he's still got time to squeeze a few more. Tell everybody about your secret mission with Billy Gibbons from ZZ Top, how you went to an underground base and saw alien technology that could regrow limbs and make crippled people walk again. Tell us about that, Greer.
Is that we're going to have to learn how to live together peacefully.
Or how the government offer you $2 billion to stop talking about aliens.
And not weaponizing everything we get our hands on. I mean, you know, that is one of the
I get it, but we have to
or the primate chimpanzee roots of Homo sapiens.
We have to enforce the rules evenly. I'm not going to let somebody come in and talk, you know, say a bunch of anti-Semitic stuff, just as I wouldn't if somebody came in and, you know, talked a bunch of racist stuff about Black people or any people, really. You know, like, we just want everybody to feel welcome here. So I get it. We have a pretty good crowd that's probably not like offended by somebody coming in the live chat and saying that stuff, but it was multiple comments that were anti-Semitic, clearly anti-Semitic. So, you know, at that point, you're not welcome here. Come back when you can behave.
To organize into war and kill everyone you disagree with or who looks different or sounds different. But that's fine when it's clubs and even machine guns or maybe even a jet. It ain't fine with this level of technology. And so this is on the horns of the dilemma where on a very deep level, when the final analysis, it's a social spiritual development that has to be concomitant with the technological. What's happened right now is our technology is way ahead of our social development, which is why we're still blowing each other up over nonsense and superstitions and beliefs and little strips of land here and there that don't amount to anything. But we have technologies that could obliterate the entire planet in the twinkling of an eye. And I think even worse than that, because we're so narcissistic as a species.
Yeah, Greer with his fake talking points. Oh, free energy can clean the globe of all pollution and all problems, and we'll live in a utopian society. Bullshit.
We're not alone. And the ones that are out there have been watching this for some time with increasing dismay. Ever since we detonated that first atomic bomb.
These two make Knapp and Corbell seem downright legit.
Of, quote, UFO, UAP activity coincided precisely with the detonation.
Yeah, this Raven woman is totally brainwashed.
Atomic bomb, and it's not by an accident.
The Greer cult Kool-Aid, man.
Very much related to this. And it still is, because they knew that once a species like ours sets on a path where we go through,
they have no idea who
level,
he is. That's right.
Of what happened in the 20th century of physics and science and technology into applied physics, but then taking that and turning it into a fearsome, a terrible weapon that could destroy all life on Earth. That's when a giant red flag.
She believes all of this. She's
and boy, do we have a big one flashing red above us.
She's a cult member.
I think that's you kind of have to put this into terms that people can.
She
understand,
hasn't moved in 90
but
minutes.
also that members of Congress or White House people can understand, because this science is unfortunately. One of the funny things I had, you mentioned Tom Bearden. Love Tom Bearden. We were very good friends. We were very close. Oh, yes. Yeah.
I wish I could have met him. There's a few engineers. Him and Paul Sizz was another guy that I saw you interview that I wish I could have met.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's a wonderful guy. And one time I took Lieutenant Colonel Bearden up to some people in the Senate and Science Committee folks, and we were going to do a briefing, and I told him, before you go, you're going to have to learn to speak English.
He's been caught lying about briefings
not
times.
Not
a Southern
200 geek talk, physics talk. And we went in there, but he couldn't do it. The guy was so brilliant, but it's like at the end, I could tell no one could follow. Maybe they could follow this but everything he said was like Swahili, and so I had to do a translation for them. But one thing I remind people, when you're talking to folks, whether it's media, the general public, Senate,
he claims a lot of shit like that. It's all fake.
None of them understand science.
Total fraud.
And most of their science advisors, that's who we were addressing, don't understand this level of science, because you're not learning that at MIT and Harvard. You're going to learn that in the Skunk Works, or someplace. So we have to learn to discuss it in a way that brings it to earth and define our terms. AI? But I also think that what you're doing is important. I would say we need to put out a call, and I'm doing that right now, to people who are knowledgeable of what really happened. There are people who know. And I do think that this gentleman who went to prison,
you're joking about Jewish space lasers or Jewish pimps and their space blimps, I know you're joking.
Could be interrogated.
That's fine.
And he would not be able to not answer the questions on something that's a mass murder criminal case that did involve either U.S. technology companies or U.S. Military or intelligence personnel. I mean,
Raven's right hand is reaching for the value.
The prerogative for the rule.
She just clock watched. Yeah, she's like, how much more of this shit do I have to listen to?
So
I would hope so. I think he needs a pardon, though. Honestly, I mean, the only way I could see him talking to his plea deal would have something in there that says that he's
been caught lying about these briefings many times.
You can get immunity, and this is the other thing. People listening, the folks I'm talking
with, and also there's Grant Levac in Australia. Greer once claimed that he briefed a high-ranking Australian government person, and Grant Levac got an on-the-record statement proving that was a complete and total lie. And the name of the person escapes me, but he's been caught lying about briefing people so many times, and he keeps saying it. You will not find one video or interview with Greer where he doesn't brag about briefing all these people. And if he does name a name, it's somebody that's dead so that you can't fact check them. But if he names an alive person and you fact check them, you find out he never briefed them. They don't know who he is. They don't know what he's talking about. So there's a great deal of deception being used to generate this fake UFO messiah that, you know, he pretends that all these government people think he's important in this movement and they talk to him, and there's no proof of any of that.
Are in a position to be able to put that in place, because when the day is done, we have a whole bunch of high value people in corporate and government workplaces that need exactly that, and that's what needs to happen. And this has been discussed. You've seen some of the draft legislation in Congress, but in reality, this can be done through the Department of Justice and also the executive branch. To anyone
looks like she
who has
OD'd on
information of great
Aldol.
significance,
Yes.
they can receive a letter of non-prosecution and immunity for everything they've done.
That's right. Lou Elizondo says Greer's a
But
hack.
the quid pro
Only
quo
I
on
have a
that
hot
is
vibe to
they
the
have
White
to
House.
disclose everything.
Yes.
They can't disclose.
Goes without saying. You don't
this
need the
and
word
hope that's
fake.
bad. It has to be
UFO
the
Messiah
full
equals fake.
disclosure. But that is what we have folks who want to
listen
move
to
in that
this
direction.
crap.
And I would say people
Yeah.
connected to this case and other UAP related cases should contact us.
Yeah, Greer
you can
claimed the
contact,
government offered him
Mr.
$2 billion
Forbes, you can
to
contact
stop
us,
talking about aliens.
and we'll collaborate on getting this to the right people who want to see the truth come out and have it come out correctly. And by the way, everyone I'm working with in the government end of this, who are the white hats who want this, they understand the sensitivity of the technology release, that it isn't everything. We're not wild-eyed UFO people who go, oh,
Wild-eyed
everything should
UFO
come out, and
people.
we're floating in UFOs going from Paris to New York in two minutes tomorrow. I mean,
Archaic Revival is mesmerized
there's
by
a
the
technology
bullshit. Yes.
curve that has to get adapted to society's conditions
And the
and the
truth
state
won't
of
come
the
out
world.
correctly
And
out
the
of his
state of the
mouth.
world right
Yeah.
now, it ain't peaceful, So, and so, in a dangerous world.
Well, we started with a 25-minute monologue from Greer. I guess we're ending with a 25-minute fucking monologue.
Let's figure out how to benefit and advance human
3 minutes.
civilization.
We're going to make it to
without
the end of this
destroying it,
shit
right?
pile of
So,
garbage.
That's
Amazing.
threading that needle.
We're going to
takes some
make it,
wisdom,
friends.
and
We're going
there
to
are
make it
people
through
who
this
I'm working with who,
bullshittery.
I would say everyone I'm working with understand this issue.
Yeah. I have some final thoughts. One is just that I think somebody wants this to come out. That's the reason why I've not been told to stop or what have you. I don't know what the factions are. I would love to know what they are. But if Edward Lynn's out there, you just heard it right here. He's got the resources. If you want to get, legally covered before you can talk about it, because that's what it would take, I think, for the public to understand. I've spoken. I haven't mentioned this, but I've spoken to businessmen that are extremely successful, wealthy. I'm not going to name names, but just like you said, they don't.
Yes, because he's bluffing too. He hasn't spoken with any wealthy business people. He's a liar. But it's funny when you put two liars together, they got to try to one up each other's lies. Like Greer said, he talked to all these important, government people. Now Ashton's got, well, I spoke with really important business people that are insanely wealthy. So, they got to one up each other on the lie factor scale.
Don't understand the science, just like the politicians don't necessarily understand it. That's why my personal action has been to teach people the science and explain it in a way that they normally would, not in the way that the physicists talk about it, where they're always name dropping things and you can't follow what they're saying, but in a way that normal people can get it. And the last thought is, what I've learned from this technology related to your
a lot of people say they can't watch it without me.
They definitely know. I mean, we're talking with the laser capability, they can get below the diffraction limit. So they can have telescopes that are just beyond people's wildest imaginations. If there's something out there, they know
Trust me, bro.
My personal belief is that the moment we change LIGO to start looking for artificial gravitational waves instead of just
two
natural
liars
ones where
trying to
neutron stars are
outprove or
colliding,
maneuver each other.
I think the whole universe is going to light up because aliens are flying around. They're not flying around on rocks like 3i, Atlas, whatever. They're flying around on warp drives and wormholes. They don't need to fly on a space rock, slow space rock that's moving like 0.0% of the speed of light.
Yeah, they all promote QAnon, Trump, white hat garbage.
I mean, so many of these things,
government disinfo. Yeah,
with
a lot of people think that.
Gaslighting.
That's why he's been able to get
gullible
away.
People in the Congress and the public.
We won't name names, but yeah.
Oh, I will. Avi Loeb. I know exactly.
Avi Loeb. He wants the 100 million for his Galileo project. I get it. I understand.
No,
But
now he's
aliens
asking
are
for a
not the
billion. Now he's
Flintstones.
asking for $1 billion. You know, the
Oh,
big
$1 billion now.
the Rat Pack with Bigelow Aerospace got maybe I don't know 100 billion, a million, I don't know, but now they want $1 billion
All right.
to keep the whole
One
charade
more minute
going,
of this
right?
shit.
Let's
We
put $1
made
billion
it
into
through.
anetronic fusion
I'm
research, and
amazed
then we
we
can all
made
have
it through
infinite
this.
energy
I
forever.
am
Then we don't have to
amazed.
worry about any of this stuff.
Exactly. Well, good. It was a pleasure finally
Amber
meeting
Dennon
you.
would
At
hang
least
herself with
virtually,
dental
I'm
floss.
telling you. Where do you live, by the way?
I live in Minnesota, so yeah. I'm
Oh, good.
Midwest.
All right. Well, I have a place in DC and a place out here in the Blue Ridge Mountains near Thomas Jefferson's house. So if you ever get out back east,
Yeah, we should meet up sometime. I'll follow along and start to meet up. And yeah, and if you can spread the word and try to get awareness in Congress or in government.
Let's get awareness of my completely fake videos I got on a hoax UFO channel that I've been scamming people out of super chats for my stupid fake conspiracy theories for years. Yeah, let's raise awareness so I can make more money scamming morons on the internet with these completely fake videos.
In general, either about the MH370 case, which I think the thread will unravel everything, or just in general about really the capabilities of thermonuclear weapons and their connection to UFOs, I think is vital. I mean, you laid it out earlier. So thank you very much, Dr. Greer. Thank you, Raven, for guys having me on.
Thank you. Yeah.
Bye.
Have a good afternoon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, God. Thank God. We made it. Oh, wow. What great production, too. They just end the video. We made it to the end of this cavalcade of bullshittery. That is gotta be like, is there any better? Oh no, all the stock backgrounds are terrible. Well, that one's not too bad. We'll just go with that one. So what do I got to do here is I have to find a musical guest or something so that I can go and get the mask, the Stephen Greer mask, and we'll fulfill our bonus time, overtime. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and share this video. It really does help. It really does help us find new fans and new viewers and new supporters. It really, really does help. Take a moment, smash that subscribe button. It's not always about just throwing money in our hat. You can also share these videos on your social media. It really, really would help. I'm furiously looking for a musical guest. Okay, we've got one, I think. No, that one's not very long. Oh, man. The problem, my friends, is that I switched back to this software. Let's try brand 2. I got to have some Simon Fly videos here, right? I've got to have some Simon Fly videos. And I think I might have a Greer song, but finding that would be pretty difficult. So just give me one moment. Bear with me, my friends. We will find something. In the meantime, oh, wow. I've got an awful lot of David Wilcock crap, but of course I can't find the Greer crap when I need it, right? I gotta better organize this, the whole deck here, and that's really my fault, so I apologize. All right, we're going to take a moment just to have a musical guest. I will be back as Dr. Stephen Greer, the crazy redheaded alien channeler. Yeah, but it's only 1 minute and 30 seconds, and I might need 3 or 4 minutes to get this mask, get it on, find some glasses. Oh, UFO circle jerkers. We could do that one. Yeah, so we want to give a big shout out to show contributor Simon Fly, who makes some interesting. Oh, 1 second here. Okay. I don't know. I just heard USB connecting and reconnecting. Want to make sure that we're okay. Just give me one moment. I see the webcam is good. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's a live show, friends. You get it, warts and all. And I apologize for the technical issues. One moment, if I find something a little more appropriate. No, we don't really want to. All right, I'm just going to play this UFO Circle Jerkers song by Simon Fly, who's a big show contributor. Shout out to Simon Fly. Go subscribe to him on YouTube. And if you haven't already, smash the subscribe button here and visit our website, truthseekershow.com. From there, you can get all the latest episodes, whether you want the audio version or the video version. They're all usually there, but note that the audio version is always a few episodes behind. But I'll try to get it caught up soon. So I will be back in a moment as Dr. Stephen Greer, and I'll be taking comments and questions as Dr. Greer from the audience. So get them ready, put them in all capital letters, and I will be back in a moment, friends. Why has no one in the UFO community showed you the truth? Garbage peddler. Why has no one in the UFO community showed you the truth? Garbage peddler. Why has no one in the UFO community showed you the truth? Garbage peddler. Why has no one in the UFO community showed you the truth? Garbage peddler. Club, and I ain't it. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Garbage peddler. Club, and I ain't it. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Garbage peddler. Club, and I ain't it. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Garbage peddler. Club, and I ain't it. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Where's the goddamn ball shavings analysis? Alien technology. Alien technology. Where's the goddamn ball shavings analysis? He is lying. He is lying. He is lying. He is lying. Where's the goddamn ball shavings analysis? Alien technology. Alien technology. Where's the goddamn ball shavings analysis? He is lying. He is lying. He is lying. He is lying. Bullshit. 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 Bullshit, 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 bullshit. He is lying, he is lying, he is lying, he is lying. He is lying, he is lying, he is lying, he is lying. He is lying, he is lying, he is lying, he is lying. He is lying, he is lying, he is lying, he is lying. Why has no one in the UFO community showed you the truth? Garbage peddler. Why has no one in the UFO community showed you the truth? Garbage peddler. Why has no one in the UFO community showed you the truth? Garbage peddler. Why has no one in the UFO community showed you the truth? Garbage peddler. Club, and I ain't it. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Garbage peddler. Club, and I ain't it. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Garbage peddler. Club, and I ain't it. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Garbage peddler. Club, and I ain't it. Cosmic Con Shuffle. Cosmic Con Shuffle. And I ain't it, 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 and Well, hello, friends. Part of my hair is a little messed up today. It's okay. I'm Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm Earth's preeminent authority on extraterrestrial life, and yeah. Oh, wait a second. Hold on. I'm not Steve Cambion at all. I might sound like him a little bit, but it's not me. I'm just a country doctor, a humble country ER doctor that suddenly got thrust into a secret world. I'm Dr. Stephen Greed, the greediest son of a bitch in UFO land. I'm the greediest UFO guy ever. I've collected millions of dollars from retards on the internet, right? Ambergeddon thought I was saying goodnight. No, we got to do the goal. We got to do the goal, friends. That's weird. I don't know. I got a secondary. So I briefed every president since Ronald Reagan, even though my name's not in any of their libraries. Okay. And I scam everybody to make my movies. Dr. Greed, where is that free energy device you promised? I spent the money on gay hookers and cocaine. Cocaine is a very powerful drug, Alga Ray. You know, and listen, good gay hookers that will butt bang you real good, they're not cheap. You know, if you want to get a real good butt banging, it's going to cost you like $350, right? At least, maybe $500 to get a really good butt banger. He looks like James Carville. No. He's a good old country proctologist. Well, that is right. I hear that Steve Cambion hit his funding and financial goal for tonight. Well, good for him, but I made like, I don't know, $20,000 off that Ashton Forbes video. Probably. Let me see. We'll look it up. Dr. Stephen Greer. We'll do a little math here. Okay, it only got 62,000 views, but if we get our calculator out, and this is the funny part. I love this business. I'm in the UFO business. It's a business, you know. Even if my CPM is extremely low, like $15 per 1,000 views, if we take 15 times 62, I made like $950 off that Ashton Forbes video. So praise the cash, bitches. I don't care what Steve Cambion made. He didn't make nowhere near me. Dr. Greer, I hear you do DMT with Linda Moulton Howe and butt bang a cow. No. First we do DMT, and then Linda Moulton Howe puts on a strap on and butt bangs me. And then we do some more drugs, and then I butt bang the cows. And not one cow, I butt bang a bunch of cows and maybe some sheep. Greed, are you top or bottom? Both. I'll give a good butt banging or take a good butt banging. I'm Dr. Stephen Greed. So if you're just joining us, you're watching Truth Seekers, and I, Dr. Stephen Greed, have decided to grace Truth Seekers with a short guest appearance. This sumbitch said I'm a liar and a bullshitter, and he said I have no evidence. Well, he's right. I don't have shit. I've been at this for 30 years. I can't show you a single solitary proof of alien visitation on Earth. Will you address all the gay rumors once and for all? Yeah, I love men's butts. I can't help it. You know that song, like I like big butts? Just put men's butts in there. I like men's butts, and I cannot lie. When I see a man's butt, I can't deny, right? I love men's butts, and I love getting butt banged myself. I love anal beads and pegging and getting. I got to stop talking like this. This whole stream's going to get demonetized. What's your handle on Grindr? My handle on Grindr. Shut up. I don't want my wife to see that account. Shut up. Do you like throat massages? Oh, yeah. I'll take one. I will take one for the team. Sometimes you got to take a shot in the mouth, Ambergeddon, to get ahead in life. I didn't get into medical school because I'm smart. Gay admitter, the admittance guy asked me for, some favors, and I was all too happy. Just take a few shots in the mouth, and I was in medical school. Rancid beef sausage. What's your favorite gay bar, Greer? Well, there used to be a gay bar in Philadelphia that I would go to. That's where Steven grew up. It was called the Black Banana. Look it up. I think it might still be there. I don't know. No, I think it closed years ago. Black Banana, Philadelphia. It was a nightclub in Philadelphia. It began in 1971 as an ice cream parlor and restaurant, 534 South 4th Street. It moved to 3rd and Race I guess it's not there anymore. No, that's sad. Yeah. But listen, I'm not talking about taking any more shots in the mouth or getting butt banged or we gotta cool it. How many reptile cucumbers can you take it at one time? Well, I could take two at once, one in the mouth and one in the bum. I would love that. Get two big, burly, muscular reptilians. One give it to me right in the mouth and one give it to me right in the butt. Oh boy, that would be a fun evening. Only if they're like sexy green reptilian aliens, though. Yeah, Dr. Gary Nolan, I try to bang him. He's a bottom bitch, though. He couldn't give me a good ramming from behind, so I tossed him aside. Looking mighty ugly. This is a rude audience. I am the world's preeminent authority on extraterrestrial scamming. I mean, extraterrestrial life, right? Good mask. Well, it used to be better, but it's been in a drawer for a while. I got to do something about my hair. Look at this. This ain't good. The hair needs some work. Definitely needs some work. Look, oh shit, my hair's falling out. What happened? What happened? My hair's falling out. Must be the alien radiation when they were This is the first interview I've seen where Greer has been truthful. Yeah, I never briefed any of those presidents. And yeah, I scammed all those people for that free energy thing. And yeah, I scam all those people. You know that app? You know, there's an app and I say you can contact aliens and summon aliens. Oh, it's a total scam. Don't tell nobody, though, because morons still buy it. $10. Buy it on the Apple Store or Google Play, bitches. Buy my scam app. You can summon spaceships for real. Yeah. Yeah, you can. Why wasn't I at the congressional meeting? Because I was at a gay bathhouse in San Francisco, Zamalius. I was busy at a gay bathhouse, and that's much more important to me. Nobody is close second to you, Dr. Greed, when it comes to that. Finally, a respectful audience member. That's right, trolly troll. You're welcome. You're welcome. What happened to Bijou? Well, he got mad when I asked him to butt bang me and he left. So it is what it is. Sheila Rattler's laughing at me. Are you Wilcox's lover? No, but sometimes we take turn pegging each other. Yeah, it wasn't a reptilian that butt banged him. It was me. I did that, Arlene. I dressed up like a reptilian so that he would let me butt bang him. Okay? All right. Why don't you come to Brazil like Corey Good did? Because there's no money. Those Brazilians don't pay. These Americans, they're the best people to scam from. Yeah, I taught Billy Gibbons how to play guitar before he joined ZZ Top. That's true. If you're the king of disclosure, why do you make people sign 9? Shut up! Don't tell people that or they won't come and give me the $5,000, you asshole, Ray Gunner. Do I have a space laser on my happy spot? Yeah, no, I have a Jewish space laser on my happy spot. Our Gray's twink material, yeah, and they like a good session. You know, you bend them over the console where they drive the spaceship, and you just start ramming them. And yeah, this looks pretty good, but usually it would look better when I wear a golf shirt like Greer wears. So I apologize, couldn't find a golf shirt quick. Because I don't like golf. Well, Stephen Cambion doesn't like golf shirts. I can't unsee it now. This mask is almost as disturbing as the real Greer. You guys take turns on each other. That's right. We take turns on each other. Bijou got butt banged to death. That's what happened. I'm sticking to that story. Is it true you squat 500? Yes. Well, no, not really. But I can take 18 inches up my butthole. So... look, I can take more in my butthole than most men, okay? I've been practicing and stretching that butthole out for a while. This has been revealing. Yeah, and I also want to thank Ashton Forbes, who's basically fucking retarded. Ashton Forbes is basically retarded. He thinks that the aliens teleported an entire airplane out of the sky with an Einstein-Rosen bridge that would take the approximate energy of an entire sun for its entire lifetime. The math don't add up, Ashton Forbes. You stupid. You're a moron. But I did make $1,000 by having you come on my show and using you as a set piece and a prop and telling you how wrong you are. Ha ha, moron. Yes, this is Stephen Greer, and I'm here to answer your questions. So put them in all capital letters, and somebody better send me some money, okay? How come you serve your guests canned? It wasn't canned spaghetti. Maybe it was Chef Boyardee, though. Yeah, fuck them. They only paid $5,000. I gave them a can of SpaghettiOs each. Fuck them, trolly troll. Fuck them. Congrats on your overpowering maneuver of Ashton Forbes. Well, he's a moron, and he wanted to lick my balls, right? Ashton Forbes spent most of the interview licking my ball sack. So I knew I could just talk for 25 minutes and he wouldn't say shit because he was too busy getting ready to lick my ball sack and suck my cock because he's a loser. And he looks up to me because I'm a better grifter and scammer than him. Do you know anything about flares? Shut up. Shut up. Those were alien spaceships. I did not pay a plane to drop flares at a certain location where I charge people a lot of money to see the alien spaceships. They weren't flares. The wormhole does end in my butt. You have to make an Ashton mask. I did. I'd never shown it. I have never shown it, but I did make an Ashton mask. I made it out of an Alfred E. Newman mask. I modified it. Maybe I'll show that next time we do a show on these two grifters. Look, me and Ashton might continue our grifting partnership because when our scammy powers combine, we can become Captain Grifter. Yeah. What about that moth photo you claim was an alien light being? God damn, you people are paying attention in Steve Campion's audience. All right, so I once got caught claiming that a fucking moth was an alien, okay? It's on UFO Watchdog. Look, I'll show you. UFOWatchdog.com. I think Steve Campion's going to try to buy that shit off of him. Stephen Greer. Where's Stephen Greer at? No. It's on here somewhere. I always have trouble navigate. Hall of Fame, Hall of Shame. I'm in the Hall of Shame, I think. Yeah. A to G. I should be in there. Stephen Greer, vectoring on UFOs for fun and profit. Oh, man. This is going to make me look like a total ass clown. Look at this shit. Here's another critic. Reportedly plagiarizes the UFO work of others and sells it as his own. What? Sells do-it-yourself ET contact kits. Now you too can steer in extraterrestrial spacelight with a flashlight and never record them, just like Dr. Greer does. What? Who's this asshole? Look at this. Most famous for his disclosure project, his famous press conference, available on his site in the summer of 2001, brought many witnesses before the microphone and asked for congressional hearings on the subject. Unfortunately, he brought forth some serious loonies as well. My whistleblowers aren't lunatics. All right, look, most of my whistleblowers are crazy and lunatics. Casting doubt on incredible witnesses, Greer is solidly in the exopolitics camp, which has failed to dislodge one shred of evidence of alien visitation. Shut up! What about the Mothman? For a time, Greer's website sported the creature on the left, claiming it had been photographed during one of Greer's midnight UFO vectoring sessions, along with various entities looking suspiciously like lens reflection. Affectionately dubbed Mothra by Greer's detractor, this pictures and others were removed to howls of laughter. All right, look, we said it was a light being loved one, and it just so happens to be a moth. But look, I charged these morons like $5,000 to see a fucking moth and told them it was an alien, and they believed me, and I'm keeping the money, Ray Gunner, so shut the fuck up and stop ruining my scams. How's my camel toe? My camel? You mean my bulge? Damn, Greer, you aged badly. Shut up. How much for a top table at the next CE5? 10 grand. 10 grand. But you got to bring your own fucking SpaghettiOs. I'm not giving out any SpaghettiOs anymore. Last time I was kind enough to give everybody a nice SpaghettiO dinner, and they bitched and said I gave them canned fucking fuck them. We're playing smear on the Greer's rear. What? Would you let Bigfoot butt bang you? Oh, yeah. He's big. I bet you he's hung like a horse. He probably got a cock this big. He probably got a 2-foot cock that's like 18 inches wide. I bet you that would spread my butt. Awesome. I'd be walking funny the next day after letting Bigfoot butt bang me, but it'd probably be worth it. Have that prostate orgasm. 10K I'm in, says why fools. Yeah, my bulge. Right? Zamalia, stop putting in emojis of moths. It wasn't a moth. It was an alien love light being, okay? They paid $5 grand to see an alien. You can't tell them it's a moth. You'll ruin the scam. Don't you ruin my scam. Toxic Jedi's here in the Kick Chat. By the way, we got to check back in with the Kick Chat. Make sure we don't have any more support to call out.
In there. There we go.
Any kicks?
That's what I like to see.
Let me see here. We didn't even get any kicks. People aren't even throwing pennies at us tonight. But shout out in the Kick Chat to Pink Monster 220 Real, Pipe Hitter, Ray Gunner, Winter Soldier, FF 9000, Ray Gunner again. Across the Hudson says hi. Hi, Across the Hudson. Decaf 9551, the Toxic Jedi. Salty. That's right. We didn't get no kicks. These kick brokies ain't even throwing pennies at Steve Cambion no more. But we'll check in with the creator dashboard over there, see if we got any actual subs or gifted subs. No, the last one we got was Yeti or Not at 7:13 p.m. Yeti or Not, thank you for your kindness. And Ralph Family Treasure became a sub. That's the last ones we got there. So, all right, well. We are playing Smear the Greer. I don't think that's funny. Are you kidding me? He's not a great resource. He is a disinformation. I think you're talking about Eric the Awakening Man. He won't talk to me because he used to talk to me, but then I kept proving that all of his friends he was hanging out with were total scammers, like Sarah R. Adams running MedBed scams, right? And now he's a big supporter of Richard Doty, who is an admitted paid government UFO disinformation agent. So, no, I haven't talked to him. He's off in wacky land. Was it gay reptiles? Yes. This is how Greer acts in a sack, not in public or on con. Yeah. Troll. What are you laughing at? No, I haven't talked to him. And I don't plan to. He was very nasty with me and with Steve Cambion. And Steve Cambion keeps proving that all the friends that he hangs out with, that he's so proud of hanging out with, are scammers. Like, who was that guy? Arcurious Ra, who was selling a fake med bed, which was just a tanning bed with fucking magnets glued in it. And then there was Sarah R. Adams, the fake psychic. He was hanging out with her. Where does Greer fall on med bed? Oh, med beds are awesome. Because after you get your butt really ripped apart by like a big reptilian butt banger, you can just get in a med bed and it just heals your butthole. And then you can get butt banged again, right? It accelerates the butt banging process, so I'm all for it. If I can butt bang more, then I'm good. I'm good for it. It's been so long since I've had some. I don't know what that means. Dr. Greed, will there be a new emergency you need to raise $1 million for? Yeah, shut up. Don't mess with that scam either. I once raised like $1 million saying that the government was going to do a fake alien invasion and I need to make a documentary about it to warn people. And then I took the $1 million and I made like a $10,000 documentary. It was so shitty that a college student could have made it for 10 grand. And I kept the other $490,000 or whatever. You know, I collected a lot of money for that scam. Don't ruin. Look, you got to trust the scam, okay? These morons on the internet are stupid. You know how many people give me money to see the fake aliens and I show the moths, pictures of a cactus, and shit like that. And they just believe that I'm summoning aliens because they're fucking retarded. All right. I think we've done our due diligence here, friends. You know, we've been here quite a while, 3.5 hours, but Stephen Cambion wants to thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support of the show. Be sure to visit the website and be sure to like, comment, and share these videos. It really, really does help. Steve Cambion will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with another great show for you. We got a banger. Steve Cambion's got a banger for you tomorrow, and I don't mean a butt banger. I mean like a banger of a good show, right? Greed, go ahead and take the $2 billion from the government. Shut up. I made that up to sound important. Don't ruin the scam. Don't ruin the scam. All right, so we've done our due diligence, and I just want to let you all know, you morons on the internet, do you know where I get all my alien stories from? Do you know where they really come from? Because I know where they come from.
Wow, the land of make-believe.
That's right. And these morons give me tons of money for this shit that I just make up from the land of make-believe. It's a great business. I'm in the UFO business. Don't mess with my business, because I don't like that when people mess with my business. Sometimes people get all up in my grill, call me a con artist and a scammer like Steve Cambion. He could suck a dick. He's scraping by. He's got to come up with a better grift. That's what his problem is. He didn't figure out you got to be on the believer side and play nice with all the grifters, and you can make $1 million a year like me. Instead, he decided to be honest to people. Yes, Dr. Greed is excited that tomorrow's show will be a banger. That's right. I love a good banger. You trying to top a record or something? If you didn't already know it, you couldn't look stupider than you already do, right? Are you talking to me, Daniel Larson? Sometimes it's fun to do a little bit of humorous things as we're proving the ridiculousness of the scam. And if you don't appreciate it, then go watch some bullshit hucksters like Dr. Greer or Ashton Forbes, who are simply trying to scam you out of money for fake fantasies that they invent that are largely evidence-free. But it's a great business, right? It's a great business. Will I come back on Steven's show for Grift Month? Well, I don't know. I might be a grifting consultant. I'm going to show him how to sell people pictures of moths and claim they're aliens, or show people pictures of cactuses and claim they're aliens, or pay an airplane to drop flares and pretend that they're alien spaceships, right? Stephen Greed. That is right, Patagonia. Appealing Tom. I don't know what you're saying, Daniel Larson. Have you been hitting the bottle, bro? Hit that bottle or that crack pipe. He's either hitting the bottle or the crack pipe. It's one or the other, right? Or maybe he's snorting bath salts, man. There's some crazy people in this chat. Plan D says I'm the grifter of the year. That's right. How'd I sculpt my eyebrows so perfect? I don't know. But it works, right? So we're gonna this was an unscheduled appearance by me, Dr. Stephen Greed. I'm going to bounce on out of here. Stephen Cambion will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you'll be here with him. Remember, I don't care what Steve Cambion says. I did brief all those presidents and that CIA director and that guy from Australia. In the land of make-believe, that's good enough. It doesn't have to be real. And no, I don't need proof. I could just quote, say dead people told me shit. That's what I do. And I get morons. I'm about to start a new fundraiser for another film after I just finished a fundraiser for another shitty film. And my films just keep getting shittier and shittier, but I make more and more money each time. So I'm going to keep the scam going, right? All right. Well, we've done our due diligence, and Stephen Cambion has once again humiliated me and proved to everyone that I am an evidence-free bullshit huckster storyteller who bluffs all of this stuff, and I actually have no evidence. I can't show you free energy. He says I'm a scammer. I say I'm a businessman. It's a business, bullshit business. That's what I'm in. Yeah, it's a great business. A great, great business. All right, we're going to bounce on out of here. But Steve Cambino will be back tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you'll be here with him. Got a great show for you. A banger of a show. I love a good banger. All right. Well, that's all we got for you, friends. My name is Dr. Stephen Greed. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Truth seekers, exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes. They lie again. Have you had your fill? Let go of lies. Take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Truth seekers, exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes. It's time to take your second red pill. I know you've had your fill. It's time to take your second red pill. Truth seekers, exposing the truth. Truth seekers, coming for you. Truth seekers, exposing the lies. Truth seekers, open your eyes.
Truth Seekers is a viewer-supported show. Wonderful people like you who enjoy this show send pledges in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal or Cash App. Instructions for how to help are in the description. You can also join our Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month you can get extra content. Patreon supporters get a backstage pass, early access to all our production videos before they are distributed publicly, Stephen Campion's music, private writings, a monthly show journal, and more. You can also become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. A YouTube membership includes all of the Patreon benefits, plus a special members badge, priority reply to video comments, and the live chat, plus a monthly members-only video. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting Truth Seekers. Thank you for your generosity and support. Thanks for being here. This is Truth Seekers with your host, Stephen Campion. Please rate, like and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truth Seekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat group during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truth Seekers. Truth Seekers.